changing world. As the world is evolving, even education is evolving in a great way. With the advent of technology, we do have to deal with the challenges to education. How do we deal with the challenges of AI? With increasing expanse of social media, how do we deal with the challenges it poses for students, for kids, for under 16-year-olds, and how do they tackle these problems as they go forward in their life? Although technology is an enabler, we should see it in a positive way, but you know that all around the world, conversations have started about the impact on impact of technology on young minds. Young minds are in an impressionable time. They get exposed to social media, what is there on the internet. We have seen increasing incidents of bullying, cyberbullying, and influencing young people's mind. So much is the impact of technology that today students are also eating according to what technology shows as cool. There are a lot of fads and other things. Where the teachers are concerned, teachers are an important pillar of society, I would say, because they lay the foundation of the young minds which go on to become the pillars of the nation. So we wanted to have a platform that celebrates teachers and their contributions, the unsung, unheard heroes that the teachers are of our society, because without them, our society would not be able to function. The schools which lay the foundation of the value system that exists in society about how we are going to go forward. The schools which take much of the heat that comes from parents, students, and from the outside world. And this is a platform and an open forum for discussing those challenges and the kind of impact that it has on schools and their decision-making process. It's also a platform where parents, counselors, students because they are also stakeholders in the education process, the founders of schools who are providing the infrastructure to kind of lay the foundation stone for education. What is their challenges? This is a platform to having free-flowing conversations, because most of the time we hear one side of the story. So First in Class is a platform to hear everyone's story, which has a big role to play in our education system. We have to look at and have these conversations to see the impact on the education system and how it takes us forward in the new era that we are moving to. So I would like to extend once again a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for your taking out time on a Sunday to have these conversations. We will have a bigger event on the 5th of September, which is Teachers' Day, celebrating the teachers and their contributions to our society, which is seldom discussed or unseen or unheard. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Aishwarya ji, thank you for the kind and wise words. Let me introduce the first panel discussion for the morning, which is very important, it's very pertinent, it's breaking stereotypes, the government schools of the future. Let me invite on stage Dr. Prerna Sharma, Principal, Government School, SKV, Mata Sundari Road, Mr. Khaliq Ahmed, JBBSSS, Ramjas Lane, Karol Bagh, Ms. Manju Rani, PGT History, SKV, Ramdev Prasad Nagar, Ms. Seema Dhaiya, SKV Kirari, as well as Ms. Mithilesh Kumari Meena, JBSSS Nithari Village. Could we please have you on the stage, and a huge round of applause as we start our first session. This session is going to be moderated by Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, Senior Editor, NewsX. Over to you.
Namaskar, ab varta ka samay aa gaya hai. Yes, it's time now for the conversation for our special first edition of the First in Class Awards and Conclave 2026. And of course, it's very appropriate that we are beginning this conversation by talking about the government school of the future. We've seen a transformation in Delhi's government schools. उन्होंने दिखा दिया है कि ये किसी से कम नहीं, और इसलिए ये भी उचित है कि दूसरे स्थान पर नहीं, तीसरे स्थान पर नहीं, प्रथम स्थान पे हमारे कॉन्क्लेव पे आज सरकारी स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल्स और टीचर्स आए हैं. तो आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. पहले तो मैं डॉक्टर प्रेरणा शर्मा आपसे शुरू करना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि जैसे मैं बात कर रहा हूं कि ट्रांसफॉर्म हो गए गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स. हम देख रहे हैं आपके कितने अच्छे मार्क्स आते हैं हर साल, आपके स्टूडेंट्स कितना अच्छा कर रहे हैं खेलकूद में भी, अपने पढ़ाई में भी, और कहां-कहां जा रहे हैं पूरे विश्व भर में. तो डॉक्टर प्रेरणा शर्मा, एनईपी का इसमें क्या क्या योगदान रहा है? ये जो राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति है, किस हद तक इसने शिक्षा क्षेत्र को बदल दिया है, दिल्ली में ही नहीं मगर पूरे देश में?
So thank you so much. And NEP 2020 हमारे स्कूलों में शुरू हो चुकी है, and it is under process. और NEP 2020 के बेसिस पर ही हमारे स्कूलों में स्पेशली हमारे गवर्नमेंट ने कई इनिशिएटिव्स भी शुरू किए हैं, जैसे कि राष्ट्रीय नीति, साइंस ऑफ लिविंग, नीव, जिसमें कि कहा गया है NEP में कि बच्चों को स्किल एजुकेशन, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन देना ज़रूरी है. तो उसमें नीव का एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है. उसमें बच्चों को एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल्स के लिए सिखाया जाता है, उनकी इंटर्नशिप्स होती हैं, उनकी इंडस्ट्रियल विजिट होती है. अभी कल ही मेरे स्कूल के बच्चे सोनीपत होके आए हैं, तो एंड दे रियली एंजॉयड एंड दे लर्नड अ लॉट. वहाँ पे वो एक काउ फार्म में गए थे, डेयरी फार्म में गए थे, सो दे लर्न, दे वर वेरी हैप्पी. सो अर्लियर लाइक as the title is breaking stereotypes. So जो एक गवर्नमेंट स्कूल की एक इमेज रही है कि वहाँ पे पढ़ाई नहीं होती या वहाँ पे टीचर्स इतना ध्यान नहीं देते, whatever is the image, तो long ago it was broken and we are still continuing कि हम बेस्ट वे में जो भी हमारे टीचर्स हैं, प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, हम लोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बच्चों पे लाइक इंडिविजुअल अटेंशन दें, और जो हमारे मार्जिनलाइज्ड ग्रुप्स हैं उन तक भी हम पहुँचे. और NEP जो है ये तो बिल्कुल पाथ ब्रेकिंग है, NEP 2020, और इसमें जैसे कि पुरानी चीज़ों को भी लाया गया है. तो वो सारी चीज़ें FLN जो फाउंडेशन लर्निंग एंड न्यूमरेसी के लिए है, निपुण संकल्प हमारा शुरू हो चुका है. एंड इसमें ये है कि 26-27 तक वी आर प्लानिंग कि हम लोग इस टारगेट को अचीव कर लें कि बच्चों की जो फाउंडेशन लर्निंग एंड न्यूमरेसी है वो 100% तक अचीव हो.
खलीक जी, मैं आपके पास आता हूँ अब, क्योंकि ये पैनल का शीर्षक जो है वह यही है कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल ऑफ द फ्यूचर. तो भविष्य का गवर्नमेंट स्कूल कैसे दिखेगा, उसकी तैयारी कितनी हो गई है, NEP के जरिए क्या क्या बदलाव आए हैं, बच्चों को इसका क्या क्या फायदा हुआ है, how are the students benefiting from all of this?
थैंक यू सर. देखिए, NEP जो है वो वाकई एक बदलाव की कड़ी है, और NEP जैसे जैसे इम्प्लीमेंट होती चली जाएगी, जैसे हमारा टारगेट है 2040 तक कि NEP को पूरी तरीके से सारे स्कूल्स में, इंडिया के सारे स्कूल्स में लागू कर देना है. तो उस सिलसिले में दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट काफ़ी हद तक आगे चल रही है. जैसे मैं खुद एक गवर्नमेंट स्कूल का स्टूडेंट रहा हूँ, तो मैं खुद बदलाव देख रहा हूँ. जिस टाइम में स्टूडेंट था, जब मैं फिर टीचर बनकर आया, और आज मैं बदलाव देख रहा हूँ कि काफ़ी ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस आ चुके हैं. अब हम फ्यूचर की बात ना कर कर आज की भी बात करें तो आप देखेंगे पिछले 2-4 साल में ख़ास तौर पर स्मार्ट क्लासरूम्स हमारे यहाँ हो गए हैं, जबकि कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता था कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में स्मार्ट क्लासरूम्स होंगे. तो अब हम स्किल एजुकेशन की बात कब से कर रहे हैं? 6th क्लास से बात कर रहे हैं. पहले बच्चा बिजनेस के बारे में, वोकेशन के बारे में यूनिवर्सिटी जाकर सोचा करता था, या फिर अगर हमें ऑप्शन मिलता था 11th क्लास में ऑप्शन मिलता था कॉमर्स, फिर हमें आर्ट ह्यूमैनिटीज़ लेनी है या फिर हमें साइंस चूज़ करनी है. आज NEP चेंज कर रहा है. NEP कहता है कि 6th क्लास से आप जो है स्किल एजुकेशन शुरू कीजिए. हमारे स्कूल्स में आप देखेंगे कि 6th क्लास से बच्चा स्किल डेवलप कर रहा है. आपने क्या स्किल डेवलप कर रहा है? मेरे खुद के स्कूल में टेक्सटाइल डिज़ाइन, आप हैरत करेंगे कि जो यूनिवर्सिटी में जाकर जो किसी स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी में जाकर बच्चा सीखता इनिशियल स्टेज पर, वो 6 क्लास से सीख रहा है। मेरे बच्चे ब्लॉक पे प्रिंटिंग करते हैं, और यहाँ तक कि हमारे जो गेस्ट आते हैं, हमारे बच्चे खुद वो प्रोडक्ट तैयार करके उनको गिफ्ट देते हैं, तो हमारे गेस्ट खुद उस पर हैरत करते हैं, बच्चों ने बनाया है। अब हमारे यहाँ भी एनुअल डेज चल रहे हैं स्कूल्स में आजकल, तो हमारे यहाँ डायरेक्टर मैम भी आ रही हैं, एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर भी कहीं कहीं आते हैं, तो मेरे खुद के बच्चों ने ऐसी पेंटिंग्स बनाकर प्रिंट करवाई कि वो हैरत करने लगे कि आपके स्कूल्स के हैं। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो भी एनईपीज ने हमें सजेशंस दिए हैं, चाहे वो बैगलेस डेज हों, स्किल एजुकेशन हो, इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम हो, हम आहिस्ता आहिस्ता करके उसको इनकॉर्पोरेट कर रहे हैं अपनी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स में, और उससे काफ़ी बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम को हम लागू करने के लिए हमने एक प्रोग्राम चलाया है, साइंस ऑफ लिविंग, जिसके अंदर हम बच्चे का होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं, फिजिकल, मेंटल, स्पिरिचुअल। अब मेडिटेशन की बात होती है स्कूल्स के अंदर, योगा की बात होती है। जब हम टीचर ट्रेनिंग किया करते थे, तब हमें बताया जाता था कि आप पढ़ाएं लर्निंग बाय डूइंग, लर्निंग बाय डूइंग। और जब हमने ज्वाइन किया एज ए टीचर, तो हम देखते थे कि स्कूल्स में लर्निंग बाय डूइंग कहीं भी नहीं है। लर्निंग बाय डूइंग सर कहीं नहीं है। क्या चल रहा था, बस रोड लर्निंग चल रही थी, लेकिन एनईपी ने हमें प्रैक्टिकली लर्निंग बाय डूइंग करके दिखाया कि हमें राह दिखाई है, और उस पर हम चल रहे हैं, तो उससे बहुत बेनिफिट हो रहा है। थैंक यू सर।
जी बिल्कुल। मंजू जी, आप पढ़ाती तो इतिहास है, हिस्ट्री है, मगर हम इतिहास में नहीं जाएंगे, हम भविष्य की बात करेंगे। तो भविष्य के स्कूल्स कैसे लगेंगे, क्या तैयारी उसकी हो गई है? राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के तहत क्या क्या बदलाव आ गए हैं, क्या क्या बदलाव आगे दिखेंगे? आप इस पे क्या क्या जानकारी देंगे? और भविष्य के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भविष्य के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जरूरी है कि उनको सारे स्किल स्कूल में ही मिल जाए, कि कैसे उनको जॉब्स आगे हासिल हों, कैसे जॉब्स में वो अपना बेस्ट दे पाएं। तो स्किलिंग के लिए भी क्या क्या आपके स्कूल्स में हो रहा है, क्या क्या बदलाव आए हैं, क्या क्या आगे देखने को मिलेंगे?
सभी को नमस्कार। मैं वैसे हिस्ट्री पढ़ाती हूँ, लेकिन सर ने पूछा है कि एनईपी का क्या रोल है हमारे उसमें इन फ्यूचर हमारे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में। मेनली जो हमारा जो स्कूल है, जो भी हमारी एनईपी है, उसमें एक इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है कि सभी को, जो हमारे CWSN के जो बच्चे हैं, उनका भी इस एजुकेशन में हमारे स्कूल में बहुत ज़्यादा रोल है। और इनको हमें साथ लेकर, इनको थोड़ा सा अलग नहीं करना है, इनको भी हमें साथ लेकर चलना है। और आगे, क्योंकि ये जो एजुकेशन है स्किल बेस्ड एजुकेशन है, तो जो नींव जो है, जो न्यू एनईपी में है, जो पहले एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप होता था, उसका एक नया नाम है, तो उससे बच्चों को काफ़ी अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिला है आगे बढ़ने के लिए। तो बच्चे इसके लिए काफ़ी एफर्ट भी करें, क्योंकि सर जो स्कूल से आते हैं गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में, इतने रिच स्कूल से नहीं घर से नहीं आते हैं, उनका एक थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड, लेकिन वो चाहते हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो जो भी करना चाहते हैं उन्हें स्कूल से थोड़ा गाइडेंस मिले, स्कूल से थोड़ा सपोर्ट मिले। तो वो नींव के माध्यम से भी कुछ अपना करना चाहते हैं कि उन्हें स्कूल टाइम से ही थोड़ा ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म मिल जाए कि वो आगे बढ़ सके, वो जॉब प्रोवाइडर बने, जॉब सीकर्स ना बने। तो वो यही मान के चलते हैं कि शायद एनईपी जो भी जो पॉलिसी है, उसमें हमारा टोटली डेवलपमेंट हो, मेंटली, फिजिकली, एवरीथिंग। वो चाहते हैं कि हम लोग एक अच्छे स्टूडेंट और एक अच्छे सिटीजन स्कूल से बनकर निकलें। तो एनईपी शायद इसके लिए एक बहुत अच्छा पॉलिसी है उनके लिए, बच्चों के लिए। तो बस मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी सर।
सीमा जी, मैं आपके पास आता हूं, क्योंकि सीमा जी हम देख रहे हैं ये बदलाव आ रहे हैं, बट नए इनोवेशंस क्या क्या आ गए हैं अब स्कूल्स में, आगे क्या क्या आएंगे? और देखिए, जब चढ़ाव होते हैं तो उतार भी होते हैं कुछ कुछ, तो कठिनाई भी क्या क्या आई हैं? उन कठिनाइयों का सामना कैसे हुआ है, कैसे उन ऑब्स्टिकल्स को आपने पार किया है अपने स्कूल को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और बच्चों को एक उज्जवल भविष्य देने के लिए?
नमस्कार आप सभी को। जैसा कि हम बात कर रहे हैं कि भविष्य के भारत के जो विद्यालय हैं, जो हमारे गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स हैं, तो जो हम पहले के विद्यालय देखते हैं, और मेरा जो विद्यालय है वो एक नया विद्यालय है जो इसी साल शुरू हुआ, तो मैंने वो ऑब्स्टेकल्स भी महसूस की और उनको किस तरह से ओवरकम किया गया। अगर हम आज की चर्चा करें तो जो डिजिटल एजुकेशन है और जो डिजिटलाइजेशन ऑफ स्कूल्स है, वो बहुत ही एक महत्वपूर्ण कड़ी है हमारे विद्यालयों की, आज की नींव है वो। तो जब मैंने एडमिशन प्रोसेस की बात करें, प्रवेश जो होता था पहले, तो वो एक लंबा प्रोसेस बन जाता था,
क्योंकि विद्यालयों को अपने दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट से कांटेक्ट करने में टाइम लगता था, तो डिजिटलाइजेशन हैज हेल्प दैट। डिजिटलाइजेशन की वजह से ये सारी प्रोसेसेस बहुत जल्दी हो जाती हैं, जिससे कि शिक्षकों का समय बच रहा है और वो अच्छी तरह से जो उनका अपना एक प्रमुख उद्देश्य है कि उन्हें बच्चों को एक अच्छी शिक्षा देनी है, उस पर कार्य कर पा रहे हैं। तो ये जो डिजिटलाइजेशन है, इंटरेक्टिव पैनल्स जो स्कूल में लगाए जा रहे हैं, लगभग 300 वर्चुअल लैब्स का जो प्लान है दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट का इन एवरी स्कूल, तो वो जो प्लान है दैट्स वर्किंग फैबुलसली फॉर स्कूल्स। और इसी में मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि इंटरेक्टिव पैनल की जब हम बात करते हैं, तो हमारे लिए एक ख्वाब होता था कि हम अपने देश के प्रधानमंत्री को सुने, देश के राष्ट्रपति को सुने। आज हमारे स्कूल्स में वो लैब्स हैं, वो जगह अवेलेबल है बच्चों के लिए, जहां इंटरेक्टिव पैनल पर उनके लिए वो सुविधा उपलब्ध है कि वो उन्हें सामने देख पा रहे हैं। वो अपने प्रधानाध्यापक से, अपने अध्यापकों से वो जो चर्चा हुई उस पर चर्चा कर पा रहे हैं। तो ये एक चेंज आया है हमारे छात्रों में भी, हमारे शिक्षकों में भी, कि वो बहुत ही उन्मुख हो गए हैं इन चीजों के प्रति। तो इसी चीज को समराइज करते हुए मैं 2 पंक्तियां, अगर आपकी इजाजत हो तो कविता के रूप में पेश करना चाहूंगी कि बदल रही तस्वीर भारत की, बदल रही तस्वीर भारत की, नव उदय नव जीवन नव सांसें हैं राहत की। लहर दौड़ पड़ी है जो विश्व संग, कदम से कदम मिला चल पाने की, जाग उठी है उमंग हर मन में, आसमां को छूकर तारों को पा जाने की। हर बालक हो तरंगित, हर बालक छू जाए तरंग, इस नव भारत की हमने डिजिटल शिक्षा से केवल यही एक चाहत की, यही एक चाहत की। तो इसी में मैंने सारी अपनी जो वो
तालियां हो जाएं
वो कर
प्लीज
दी
ये
है।
कविता के लिए।
तो मेरे छात्रों का एक और उदाहरण है कि अभी नया स्कूल शुरू हुआ, उसके बावजूद मेरे जो आर्ट्स के और कॉमर्स के बच्चे हैं, उन्होंने मिलकर एक हेलमेट डिजाइन किया नीव के अंतर्गत, जिसमें कि पूरा सेफ्टी हेलमेट है, ब्लूटूथ डिवाइस उसमें है, सोलर पैनल से कैमरा उसमें चलता है। तो मतलब बच्चे वहां जा रहे हैं और वो शिक्षकों की मदद से जा रहे हैं। तो ये हैं हमारे आज के जो विद्यालय हैं, हमारे जो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स हैं।
ये
थैंक यू।
पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री वाजपेयी जी का भी तरीका था कि कुछ चीजें जो लफ्जों में नहीं बयां की जाती वो कविताओं में आप पेश करें, तो
He is my
इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा
idol,
रहता है।
sir। मैं कविताएं लिखती हूँ और मेरे आइडल हैं वाजपेयी जी, उन्हीं की कविताओं को गाया भी है मैंने। तो बस उन्हीं से प्रेरित हूँ और उन्हीं के राह पर चल रही हूँ। धन्यवाद।
मिथिलेश जी, मैं आपके पास आना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि हम देख रहे हैं ये बदलाव जरूर आ रहे हैं सरकारी स्कूलों में, मगर ये जैसे अभी सीमा जी ने भी जिक्र किया, डिजिटल शिक्षा जब मिल रही है तो डिजिटल की दुनिया के खतरे भी आते हैं। तो उन खतरों से कैसे आप बच्चों को प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं, उनको क्या क्या सलाह देते हैं, सीख देते हैं यंग एज से, कैसे खतरों से बचा जाए, कैसे फायदों का उपयोग किया जाए? तो ये बैलेंस कैसे आप बनाती हैं बच्चों में, सरकारी स्कूलों में, और क्या क्या बदलाव, क्या क्या न्यू इनोवेशंस आपके स्कूल में हो रहे हैं, आपके नेतृत्व में हो रहे हैं?
थैंक यू सो मच सर। यहाँ आपने 2 क्वेश्चंस मुझसे पूछे हैं। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है आपका कि जो डिजिटल डिवाइसेस आ गई है और उसकी वजह से सोशल मीडिया को लेकर बच्चों में क्या खतरे उत्पन्न हो रहे हैं, और उसके लिए हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के द्वारा या एजुकेशन सिस्टम में क्या प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। तो सोशल मीडिया का उपयोग ना केवल पॉजिटिव तो है, लेकिन पॉजिटिव के साथ साथ उसके मिसयूज होने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं, क्योंकि समय की बर्बादी होती है, साइबर क्राइम में बच्चों के फंसने के और बहुत सारे रीजंस होते हैं। तो ऐसे में डिपार्टमेंट के द्वारा ईवीजीसी हर विद्यालय में, मोस्टली स्कूल्स में एक ईवीजीसी टीचर होता है जो टाइम टू टाइम इन बच्चों की काउंसलिंग करता है एंड इन बच्चों को इसके जो दुरुपयोग होते हैं उसके मिसयूजेस को बताया जाता है, अवेयर किया जाता है इन बच्चों को सोशल मीडिया के। इसके अलावा मेंटल एंड हेल्थ अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम भी टाइम टू टाइम कंडक्ट किए जाते हैं। अभी साइंस ऑफ लिविंग जो हमारी स्कीम चल रही है डिपार्टमेंट में, उस स्कीम के तहत भी इन बच्चों के कई काउंसलिंग सेशंस करवाए गए हैं, स्कूल्स में डायलॉग सेशन करवाए गए हैं। दूसरा क्वेश्चन आता है आपका जो आपने पूछा है न्यू इनोवेशंस। तो जो डिपार्टमेंट में हालांकि ऑल ओवर इंडिया में कई इनोवेशंस लाए गए हैं, जैसे कि बच्चों में एकेडमिक गैप पैंडेमिक के कारण जो पैदा हो गया था, तो उसको दूर करने के लिए निपुण भारत अभियान लाया गया था, जिसमें ये था कि प्राइमरी लेवल पर बच्चों को बेसिक न्यूमरेसी, लिटरेसी एंड जो है रीडिंग राइटिंग स्किल आ जाए। और इसका टारगेट भी भारत सरकार का ही रहा है 2026-27 तक इसको 0% कर दिया जाए 3rd क्लास में, कि बच्चा 40 से 50 शब्द के जो लेटर्स है उनको 1 मिनट में रीड कर सके। यहाँ दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में इसमें थोड़ा सा चेंज किया गया है। दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में निपुण संकल्प को 8th क्लास तक कर दिया गया है। वही दूसरा इनोवेशन जो डिपार्टमेंट में लिया गया है दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में, वो नीव, जिसका अभी डिस्कशन हो चुका है, इसमें स्किल एजुकेशन पे, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पर बल दिया जा रहा है। इसके अलावा साइंस ऑफ लिविंग, जिसमें मेंटल हेल्थ की बात कही गई है, जिसमें 5 कोशों की बात की गई है। अन्नमय कोश, मनोमय कोश, प्राणमय कोश, विज्ञानमय कोश और आनंदमय कोश। ये भारतीय जो तैतरीय उपनिषद है उससे इसको बिलोंग किया गया है। तो जो हम जिस भारतीय ज्ञान की, परंपरागत ज्ञान की एनईपी में बात कही गई है, वो साइंस ऑफ लिविंग में उसको कवर किया गया है। जिसमें अन्नमय कोश में बात कही गई है कि बच्चे के किस तरह से हम उसके शारीरिक संतुलन पर फोकस करें, उसकी डाइट पर, उसके इसके अलावा मनमय कोश में आता है तो उसके कंसंट्रेशन पावर को किस तरह से इनरिच किया जाए बच्चे के में। अब प्राणमय कोश में श्वासों की गति पर, इसी तरह से हम आते हैं विज्ञानमय कोश पर, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग को कैसे, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग को कैसे बढ़ाया जाए। आनंदमय कोश में इससे एकदम चरम स्थिति होती है, जिसमें कि हमारा वासुदेव कुटुंबकम की जो भावना है उस तरह से आनंद में हो, हर व्यक्ति के अपने और परायपन की भावना है वो एकदम दूर हो। तो इन चीजों को लागू करने के लिए मेंटल हेल्थ की बात कही गई है। फिर हम आते हैं कि विद्यांजलि एक प्रोग्राम भारत सरकार के द्वारा स्टार्ट किया गया और उसको दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में बहुत अच्छी तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट किया जा रहा है। इसमें क्या होता है, कम्युनिटी एंगेजमेंट को लगातार बढ़ाया जा रहा है कि किसी भी पर्सन में अगर कोई स्किल है या उसको नॉलेज है तो उस स्किल को और वो नॉलेज को कैसे किसी स्कूल में बच्चों को डिलीवर किया जा सके। तो उसमें अब इसको 2.0 कर दिया गया है। इसमें एक चीज और जोड़ दी गई है, पहले तो सिर्फ नॉलेज बेस्ड था, अब इसको हम रिसोर्सेज से ऐड कर दिया गया है कि अगर किसी को लगता है कि मैं गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के लिए कुछ अच्छा कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ तो वो डोनेट कर सकते हैं विद्यांजलि पोर्टल पर एक करवा के ये इसको। इसी तरह के और भी राष्ट्र नीति जब हम इस शब्द पे आते हैं तो हमारा पहले मतलब होता था, राष्ट्र का मतलब, देशभक्ति का मतलब है बॉर्डर पर जाके कुछ करना। लेकिन यहाँ इस बात पर फोकस किया गया है कि आपकी जो भी जिम्मेदारी है उस जिम्मेदारियों को पूरी कर्तव्य निष्ठा से, ईमानदारी से उसका निर्वाह किया जाए। तो इनोवेशंस दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में किए जा रहे हैं और इनका परिणाम बहुत अच्छा आ रहा है। परिणाम कैसे अच्छा आ रहा है कि अगर हम देखें तो रिजल्ट वाइज देखें तो जो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स है उनका रिजल्ट कंपेयर टू पब्लिक स्कूल बहुत पॉजिटिव जा रहा है। हम अगर लास्ट कुछ वर्षों की बात करते हैं तो जो पब्लिक स्कूल है उनका सीबीएसई का 12th क्लास का रिजल्ट है 90% टू 95% के बीच में। वहीं अगर दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के स्कूल की बात करते हैं तो इनका जो कुछ साल का रिजल्ट है वो 96 से 97% है। भाई दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के स्कूल की हम बात करते हैं कि नीट में कितने बच्चों का सिलेक्शन हुआ, तो लास्ट ईयर जो नीट में सिलेक्शन हुआ है 1400 बच्चों का सिलेक्शन दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के स्कूल से। भाई अगर हम जेई की बात करते हैं, जेई मेंस में लास्ट ईयर 2024-25 में 1400 बच्चे मेंस क्लियर किए और आईआईटी में सिलेक्शन हुआ 100 बच्चों से ऊपर सिलेक्शन। तो ये दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के स्कूल का काफी इनिशिएटिव प्रयास किया जा रहा है। भाई अगर हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बात करते हैं तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की उससे देखते हैं तो आज की डेट में दिल्ली के 100% स्कूल में ड्रिंकिंग वाटर की फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल है। इसके अलावा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की जब हम बात करते हैं तो सभी स्कूल्स में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल है। सोलर पैनल सभी जगह लगे हुए, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग सिस्टम सभी जगह है। ऐसा कोई भी सिंगल वन टॉयलेट आपको दिखाई नहीं देगा जहां पर जो ये हैंड वॉश ना हो। सैनिटरी नैपकिन के जो आते,
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है
ये सारे तो बहुत अच्छा। एक कहते हैं ना कि हम जब पहले ये सोच के चलते थे कि एजुकेशन में सिर्फ रोट लर्निंग हो रही है, अब रोट लर्निंग की बात ना करके हम कोर एसेंशियल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, जिसमें 4 एसेंशियल आ रहे हैं। 21st स्किल की जो सेंचुरी स्किल्स आ रहे हैं, निपुण आपके एफएलएन इसमें आ गया है। इसके अलावा डिजिटल लिटरेसी एंड फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी इसमें
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ये सब सुनकर। और वाकई में ये सब सुनकर एहसास भी हो रहा है कि हमारी सरकारी स्कूल बदल रहे हैं, जैसे अभी मैं जिक्र कर रहा था शुरुआत में। मगर ये आपने सुविधाओं की बात करी है और जो प्रोग्राम्स है उनके बारे में बात किया, मगर इनको इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे किया जाए ये भी बहुत जरूरी है। इस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के लिए सक्षम नेतृत्व की आवश्यकता है। हम देख रहे हैं अगर हमारा विकसित भारत का एम है 2047 के लिए, तो जरूरी है कि सक्षम नेतृत्व हो, और वो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी में हमें मिल गया है देश को। मगर सरकारी स्कूलों के नेतृत्व के लिए ये कितना फायदेमंद हुआ है कि ये रिक्रूटमेंट हुआ है। सीमा जी मैं आपके पास आता हूं, क्योंकि रिक्रूटमेंट भी हुआ है शायद प्रिंसिपल्स का, वाइस प्रिंसिपल्स का। ये नए रिक्रूटमेंट से कितना असर पड़ा है नेतृत्व पर?
नेतृत्व पर वाकई में बहुत असर पड़ा है, क्योंकि जब यंग और एंथुजियास्टिक लीडर्स आपके पास हैं अभी स्कूल्स में, तो ये हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का भी विजन है कि एंथुजियाज्म हो लीडरशिप में। तो इन सभी रिक्रूटमेंट्स का ये असर हुआ है कि हमारे जो विद्यालय हैं उनमें एक एंथुजियाज्म की लहर दौड़ पड़ी है। छात्र जो हैं वो इंटरेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं। पहले जो एक इमेज होती थी, एक स्टीरियोटाइप होता था कि जो कुर्सी पर बैठे हैं उनके ऑफिस तक पहुंचना भी मुश्किल होता था, आज वो स्वयं भी बच्चों के बीच हैं और बच्चे भी उन तक पहुंच पा रहे हैं और वो स्टीरियोटाइप कहीं ना कहीं टूटा है। तो मैं ये नहीं कहती कि पहले के लीडर्स सभी ऐसे थे, लेकिन हाँ, एक स्टीरियोटाइप लोगों के मन में था। आज जब हम लोगों के बीच में जाते हैं तो वो हमसे खुलकर बात करते हैं, वो हमसे इस तरह से बात करते हैं जैसे कि हम उनके अपने बच्चे हैं। पेरेंट्स जो हैं वो हमसे खुलकर इंटरेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं, तो उनको ये लग रहा है कि हमारे ही बीच से लोग आए हैं और उनमें कोई भी इस तरह की भावना नहीं है कि वो हमें हमारे जवाब नहीं देंगे। तो ये एक फर्क पड़ा है।
मंजू जी, मैं वापस डिजिटल पर ही आता हूं। डिजिटल लर्निंग से कितना फायदा मिला है बच्चों को, और डिजिटल की दुनिया के जो खतरे भी हैं उनके बारे में आप बच्चों को कैसे अवगत कराती हैं? खास करके जो बच्चे मध्यम वर्ग के नीचे से आते हैं, जो बच्चे जो हैं शायद जिनके घरों में ये शिक्षा नहीं मिलती मगर आपको देने का काम करना पड़ता है उनको।
जी सर, हमारे स्कूल में जो बच्चे आते हैं मेनली थोड़े पुअर फैमिली से आते हैं। अगर उनको ऑनलाइन काम दिया जाता तो वो ये कहते हैं कि अभी पापा घर पर नहीं है, रात को आएंगे, तो तब काम कर पाते थे। तो लेकिन स्कूल में जब हम डिजिटली उनको पढ़ाते हैं तो वो इस चीज़ को बड़ा मतलब एंजॉय करते हैं कि हम घर पे ना पढ़कर हम स्कूल में हमें इस चीज़ का फ़ायदा मिल रहा है। तो वो लोग जैसे हमें कोई चैप्टर उनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो हम उनको डिजिटली दिखा देते हैं, ज्ञान पे दिखा देते हैं, तो वो उस चैप्टर को बहुत अच्छे से समझ लेते हैं। क्योंकि हिस्ट्री थोड़ा सा सबको शायद बोरिंग लगता है, तो उसको थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए मैं उनको स्कूल में उनको जो चैप्टर उनको थोड़ा टफ लगता है उनको मैं डिजिटली उससे दिखा देती हूँ। और क्योंकि उनको वो सोचते हैं कि बस डिजिटली जो है बच्चे थोड़ा सा कि एंजॉय करना, उनको इंस्टा पे अपनी जो वीडियोस हैं वो बनाना है, वो थोड़ा इस चीज़ के लिए ज़्यादा वो करते हैं अपने लिए। लेकिन उनको उनको ये लगता है कि बस यही लाइफ है, क्योंकि आजकल क्या हो रहा है, लोग वीडियोस बनाकर थोड़ा पैसे कमा रहे हैं, तो उनका माइंड भी थोड़ा सिर्फ डिस्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है, पढ़ाई से ज़्यादा थोड़ा उसमें डिस्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है कि चलो वीडियोस बना लेते हैं, शायद थोड़ा सा अर्निंग हो जाए, हम लोग फेमस हो जाए। तो लेकिन उनको उसके ड्रॉबैक्स नहीं पता है कि उससे क्या होता है। क्योंकि जो साइबर क्राइम्स हो रहे हैं अभी, क्योंकि लोग उनके पास इतना ज़्यादा देखो, जब उनको क्योंकि जो स्कूल से जो उनकी स्कॉलरशिप मिलती है तो उन्हें ये भी नहीं पता होता कि जो स्कॉलरशिप मिली है हमारे अकाउंट में आई है या नहीं आई है। तो इसके लिए भी उनको फिर क्योंकि फ़ोन में मैसेज नहीं आते तो इसके लिए भी उनको थोड़ा सा देखना पड़ता है। लेकिन जब थोड़ा सा जब डिजिटली उससे हम वो इस चीज़ के लिए थोड़ा एडवांस हुए हैं तो
काफ़ी गाइडेंस देनी पड़ती है। खलीक जी, आप भी यही करते हैं आपके
जी
स्कूल
सर, गाइडेंस तो करनी पड़ती है।
समय कम है तो खलीक जी, मैं
आपने
आपके
सर
पास
जो डिजिटल एजुकेशन के बारे में बात की, तो कुछ डिपार्टमेंट्स के भी इनिशिएटिव्स हैं इसके लिए, और कुछ स्कूल टू स्कूल भी डिफर करता है कि सोशल मीडिया के जो हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स हैं उससे बच्चों को कैसे रोका जाए। तो डिपार्टमेंटल तो ये है कि इनकी साइबर सिक्योरिटी की ट्रेनिंग्स कराई जाती हैं। अब देखेंगे आप कि SHO यानी जब उनसे वास्ता हमारा तभी पड़ता था जब कोई क्राइम होता था, आज वो स्कूल्स में आते हैं, अपनी टीम्स को भेजते हैं, साइबर सिक्योरिटी पर, साइबर फ्रॉड्स पर वो ट्रेनिंग्स दी जाती हैं, स्कूल में इम्पार्ट की जाती हैं डिपार्टमेंटल गाइडलाइंस के तहत। और कम्युनिटी और स्कूल का भी जो है ना, जैसे मैडम ने भी बताया कि विद्यांजलि के थ्रू बहुत जुड़ाव हो रहा है। तो IT एक्सपर्ट्स जो होते हैं वो हम इनिशिएट करते हैं डिमांड कि हमारे बच्चों को साइबर सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड या सोशल मीडिया के हार्मफुल जो इफेक्ट्स हैं उससे रिलेटेड उन एक्सपर्टीज जिनके पास है उनको हम इनवाइट करते हैं। और क्योंकि इसका प्रचार प्रसार बहुत हो रहा है विद्यांजलि का, तो अब लोग अपने जो स्किल्स हैं उसको छुपा के नहीं रख रहे, बल्कि उसको जो हम रिक्वेस्ट भेजते हैं उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं। तो हमारे बच्चों को ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है और स्कूल टू स्कूल इस तरह डिफर करता है। जैसे मेरे खुद के स्कूल में,
मगर बड़ा अच्छा है कि सबका तरीका है, मगर सब इस पे कंसंट्रेट करें। आखिरी सवाल डॉक्टर प्रेरणा आपसे मैं करना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि आज हमारा जो कॉन्क्लेव है उसका नाम है फर्स्ट इन क्लास। तो अगर कोई बच्चा आपके पास आता है और कहता है मुझे फर्स्ट इन क्लास आना है मैम, तो आप क्या कहेंगे, उनको क्या सलाह देंगे?
पहली बात तो यही है कि अगर हमारे पास कोई बच्चा आ रहा है तो हमें उसे विद ओपन आर्म्स एक्सेप्ट करना ही है। और उसके लिए जो मेरे इंचार्जेस हैं उनको मैंने गाइड किया हुआ है, तो वो लोग इस चीज़ को उन्हें पता है कि जो बच्चा हमारे पास आया है वो वापस नहीं जाना चाहिए, और उनका पूरा ध्यान रखा जाता है। सो दैट इज़ इट।
अच्छा लगा ये सुन के। ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच आप सबको हमारे संग जुड़ने के लिए, और आप इतना अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं आपके स्कूलों में, उसके लिए हम आपको शुभकामनाएं भी देते हैं, और ये आप जारी रखें। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस।
Thank you so much for that wonderful session, a very good way of starting the inaugural edition of the First in Class Awards and Conclave. Thank you there for taking that session. Well, moving on to something that is extremely important. When I was in school, which I promise you was not too many years ago, the notion was either 95 or nothing. And that's the session that we want to talk about today. The topic for this session is More Than Marks, Redefining Success in School. And to take this conversation forward, may I please request Ms. Pooja Bhatia, Principal, the RD School, to come up on stage. Ms. Malika Preman, Principal, Tagore International School, East of Kailash, to join us on the stage, as well as Ms. Archana Kaul, Principal, Kulchi Hansraj Model School, Ashok Vihar. Could we please have a round of applause for all our guests with us on the stage? This session is going to be moderated by Ms. Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director, NewsX. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much for coming, and on a Sunday, I know how precious Sunday is for not just students, but even the teachers. So we thank you all for being here. I have a panel of principals with me, and हमारा जो topic है first in class, but it's really what we really want to say with the new education policy is कि first in class का मतलब सिर्फ numbers ही नहीं है. It's not just the marks, but actually what you achieve, whether it is a vocational skill, जो भी आपका हो, where you are, excel in whatever your interests are, उसमें आप अच्छा करें और प्रथम करें. That is what today's education is all about. We help. The idea is to help you to become good citizens and not just, learning by rote, but learning by doing, जैसे कि हमारे अभी principal ने कहा था. I think that really sums up the new education policy. But I'll begin with you first, Archana ji. थोड़ा सा, what, according to you, what is the most striking, feature of the new education policy जो आपको लगा है कि कल के बच्चों के, कल के citizens के लिए बहुत help करती है?
A very good morning to all the audience here, and thank you for calling me as a panelist. See, when this education policy came, the scenario in the schools was a bit different. We all thought that it will be very difficult to implement such a policy in our schools because we were not ready. But as the time passed, as the change, the changes are inevitable, as the time passed, and what all was there in the education policy, we were able to implement it seamlessly. And still, we are in the process. It's not that we are 100% following what is given in the NEP. It is more skill-oriented. It is more based on what the team was just now telling you. It's about the literacy and numeracy. It is about the vocation. It is about the interest of the students. It is about art integrations. It is about experiential learnings, learning from what you see around, not only in the classroom. And it has to be beyond books. So that is what the education policy talks about. And we are, of course, doing it, and new things are coming up every day, and the government is also helping us in implementing. The latest, what has come is the Kaushal Bodh from the CBSC. That is again talking about the skill activities. So this is how the schools are working, and I'm sure that it'll be, now we are just approaching, and we are thinking that in time to come, the schools will be revamped. More talking about skills than talking just about marks and academics.
Malika, for you, in terms of skills and vocational training, a little bit of what, are the really career options, what is the school offering, and what are the children interested in? Because now new age careers are also coming up. So in terms of that, how is your school tailoring the needs for what the new age careers are all about?
So, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity, NewsX and Priya, for contacting us and for having me on the panel. When we talk of the new age career options, today's children, I'll say they are natives of technology. So any option which is related with technology is obviously the foremost option, and anything to do with AI. We always say that AI is going to take away the jobs. But what I feel is, if you are equipped well with AI, it is going to give you a lot of opportunities in future. So the new age career is not that, okay, you study economics, you can become an economist. With economics, you also need to have some AI skills, maybe data analytics, something, so that it can be. So the new age career is not restricted to the silos of subjects like, okay, science, if you have taken biology, you can go into medicine. With medicine, you also need to know a little of technology there so that you know what is robotic surgery, because that's coming up in a big way. So in every subject, if you are taking psychology, so it's not only that you can be a psychologist, you can be a sports psychologist, you can go into HR. There are so many options, and we cannot restrict one subject to one career option. And that is what even our students are looking for. So whenever we talk to students and ask them, what would you like? I see a lot of students who are already into content creation. They are already working with, and they are doing well with YouTube or different channels where they are creating content. They are very good with creating small podcasts on different tools, what can be used on different subjects and how. So there's a lot of scope if we don't treat subjects individually, rather if we put subjects together, sports and psychology. There's a very big career option coming up as sports psychology. So we have to broaden our horizon, we have to think out of the box, which NEP also says, that let our children be critical thinkers, let our children be decision makers, let our children be leaders in whatever they do. So that's what I feel, that we have to broaden our horizon a little, go a little out of the box and see how we can help in more, giving them more opportunities at school level itself. Thank you.
Exactly. I think that really is what first in class means. You should be leaders in whatever you do. You know, you don't have to be just leaders on the mark sheet. That is really important. Pooja, your school, RD school, also does a lot of Montessori model. So if you can just explain to us, how is that, adapting to the new education policy in terms of, or was it already there? And this whole emphasis on skills rather than just the mark sheet.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you for the question. So my school started as a Montessori school. It's a 100-year-old philosophy which was started by Dr. Maria Montessori. And it's amazing because even 100 years ago, she emphasized on skill development, experiential learning, learning by doing. So her philosophy was just basically in simple terms that there is no rote learning, but you teach students as young as 6-7 months. Just give them material and they will learn everything. So even when it's fractions, even if it's adjectives, it's just the material doing the work, and you all as educators are passive. So I strongly feel that what she said that time is what we are doing in this new age education. So Montessori is what is aligned, and then we follow Cambridge in our primary and secondary years. And I would say Cambridge and NEP both is very closely aligned now with skills and developing children for future-ready skills, where what she spoke about, critical thinking, making children learn, unlearn, and adapt. And that is what emphasis today is. So we all know that we have to prepare students for life and not for marks. And that is where the role of skills come in.
Very well said. Ashna ji, your school is, I think, the largest DAV school. You have, I think, 8,000 students under you.
Around 6,000.
6,000, sorry. So that is a large number also, and also a lot of diverse backgrounds. So in terms of career options, what are the children looking at today, and how do you prepare them for that?
See, being a school which has such a large number, the career options are also diverse.
Correct.
Because we have children even from the low background, even from the professional background. So when we talk about the children, it's an inclusive education. All the children are studying together in the classroom. We don't have to identify, identify that what is the talent which lies behind those children. So if the children are getting good opportunities, we have so many vocational subjects, so many skill subjects, which they can opt for. So it's open for all the streams, all the children, and they are really looking into it. And so many of them have taken up fashion designing, textile designing, AI in their future higher studies also. So when we talk about children, we are doing this from the early age. I think most of the schools are having different clubs, societies in the schools, where they are giving them training, where they are giving them different skills, and the children are really coming up well from that. So once they move to the senior school, they are ready. And then we don't have to train them so much. They know what they have to do. So we have different workshops, we have seminars, we have interaction programs, we have a very good alumni associations wherein we can have a contact program that is from real world to the classroom. So we have people coming from different walks of life, training the children, talking to them, telling them about the different avenues. So this is what we are doing in the school because the number is large, it takes time to get and connect to each and every child. But yes, we are doing it.
And is there in terms of different careers that you see, a lot of it also depends on the background and what you are exposed to. So how do you ensure that everybody gets the same level exposure?
That's what I'm saying. When we have different people coming over to the school for the workshops, for the seminars, for the trainings, and the children are sitting in the symposiums, so all of them are getting the equal opportunities. When it comes to financials, yes, some aids are given, some donations are collected, and all the alumni are very well connected to the schools, and we do get help from them also. So it's a big association, yes.
Malika, apart from being the principal of Tagore School, you also the chairperson of the National Progressive School, the Alliance. You have, I think, 300 schools under you. So you are actually looking at this from a very larger prism. So in terms of, my question to you really is, the needs of today's students are not just career, but there is also a lot of peer pressure, a lot of emotional counseling, a lot of a holistic outlook to education. So is that something that, you're now bringing in counseling sessions in school? Are children okay to come and talk to counselors? How do you integrate all that? The mental health versus the physical well-being.
Yes. So a very, very important topic, I must say, that mental health and well-being is something which is looked very closely nowadays because, see, and every time I hear that when we were growing up, we didn't have any stress, we didn't have any pressure, we didn't know what the word depression is, without knowing that today's child, when they are growing up, they have so many distractions, they have so many opportunities to watch content which is not age appropriate, yes, that it leads to problems of stress, it leads to various mental health problems. So it becomes very imperative for us to provide them that support in school. So what we do, we have a very good program in our school which is called as Active Minds. And in this, what we have done is, we have trained a group of our students who's trained by the counselor to be the mental fitness ambassadors in the classroom. Oh. So they are there in the classroom and they are, if anyone, they come and report to the counselor if required. They are trained to handle the things in the classroom at their own level because, see, students open up with their friends more than their teachers or somebody. So what I want to tell through all this program is that we need to have a system in school where the child, at times, they are not very forthcoming to go to the counselor or talk to the counselor, they feel hesitant. So you should have a system in the school itself where it can be addressed. I'll just give an anecdote from one of the instances which we have seen, that a student in the class used to sit and keep crying. And the child did not want to go to the counselor. So the mental fitness ambassador noticed that, went and spoke with the child. The child told the problems, why he's sitting and crying and why he's stressed. The fitness ambassador ensured support, ensured that the child gets more friends around him, and then slowly took that child to the counselor also. So this is the system we need to have in our schools, where every student feels that, yes, there is somebody to listen to them. There are times when students just want to come and just want to talk to you without you being judgmental, without you giving any response to them. They just want to be heard. There have been instances where I've told the students, come, sit in my room for 10 minutes, we'll talk. After 10 minutes, they tell me, ma'am, I'm perfectly okay, I'm going back to the class. So it's just that space to be given to them, just the time given to them, and a system in school where they feel safe, they feel that yeah, they are heard, is very, very important. And if we can do that, I'm sure we'll be able to handle and tackle most of the issues which arise in our schools.
That is very interesting. You're turning peer pressure into peer support. I think that's a very good move. And also, especially, aajkal we are hearing so many kids who are committing suicide at so young an age, which is really my question to you, Pooja, is that, you know, I was reading this book by Jonathan Haidt called The Anxious Generation, which is that today's kids don't know how to take a no. Because we have so, you know, we have right? So, which is why, they're committing suicide. A friend of, I've heard of this incident in a village in Gangaram's, this thing in Rajasthan, where because the girl was ticked off for carrying a mobile to class, she went home and she hung herself. So, there is, where do we walk that thin line between sensitizing kids and not being really, harsh on them, but also getting them awake to the realities of the world?
So I would say that you're absolutely right. It's a very, very thin line, because anything that you do in school, whether a child is not selected for a competition or is not given a certificate, or even a small thing like this friend does not talk to him, we have parents and their caretakers coming to school and telling us that, please change this for the child. So the child nowadays is not fighting their own battles. We have adults around them who are fighting for them all the time. So they are not used to disappointments, etc. So I fortunately work in a boutique school, and we have less numbers. So it gives us a chance to connect to every student. So we run programs like something as informally as RD Nest. So we have RD is the name of my school. So we have RD moms. So every person in school has 5 students just dedicated to themselves. And like how she said, the children now only wants to be heard. So you just have these informal conversations with the primary and secondary students, and you kind of hear them and help them fight their battles. Because when we grew up, we had joint families, we had so many cousins, we had different social setting. Yes. But these children are growing up alone. So social skills, waiting to be heard, etc. So whatever formal programs we have, well-being in our Cambridge curriculum, we run circle time, all schools do that now. But I honestly feel that the informal programs where you just listen to them, talk to them, change one child at a time, is how you train them to fight battles, take no, and progress.
Ashnaji, I quickly want you also to come in on this question of mental health and support, because there is a lot of need for emotional support also, which maybe parents can't give or they are too busy. So how does the school step in?
See, every school nowadays, it's a compulsion for every school to have a team of counselors, team of special educators who can help the child whenever there is an issue. But the problem arises only when the parents are not accepting that their child needs help. Yes. When they come to the school, they never realize that this child really is having some issues regarding his studies. So by the time they grow up, by the time they come to class 7th or 8th, then they come to know, ठीक है जी, अब मेरे बच्चे को आप help दे दो. So that is a time which is very difficult even for the counselors, even for the school to provide help. If from the beginning the parents are given these sessions, parents are being counseled, parents are, like how she said, be heard. It is not only the child is to be heard, even the parents have to be heard.
Good point.
Because nowadays the parents are the key stakeholders in any school. If their mindset changes, the schools have to, and the schools will become successful. But this is where, like right now also we are, in that process of making this growth mindset, changing the thought process of the parents. But yes, I'm sure within no time we will be doing that. And the children, when they come to school, they feel that they are in safe hands. The safety, the protocols which we have, They feel more secured when they are in the school than when they are at home. Because here they talk to their peers, they share their feelings, but when they are at home, they're alone. The parents are away, they don't have anybody, and rightly said, they are glued to the mobiles and the social media. So we are there, we have a team of teachers, we have team of counselors, and we have team of peer educators as well.
Quickly, we're out of time, Malika, but I cannot have this conversation without bringing in, we're talking about social media, but the use of AI, chat GPT, how is that an advantage, disadvantage? How do you make sure the children are not misusing?
I always say that we have to ensure that we teach them the right use of AI, because AI is inevitable. We cannot say, don't use chat GPT. We cannot tell students that. They will use chat GPT, whatever said and done. Even if you tell them not to, they will. So we have to equip them. How do they use it? We have to teach them responsible use of internet, responsible use of AI. So what we also do in my general studies classes, I had done this experiment. I told all of them to write an essay using ChatGPT. They all came. They were so happy that they have to write an essay. So they just gave the point, they copy-pasted, and they came. I said, now, exchange your sheets with your friends and see what they have got from ChatGPT, and now write yourself, taking pointers from there, write it down yourself. At least they got to know the structure, how it has to be written. They got to know how to begin and how to end. So it's not that there's no learning from AI. AI is going to stay. We have to equip them to use it well, to use it responsibly. And even one day when I was discussing again with class 12 that the social media is very bad, why do you people are always glued on social media? So one girl stood up and asked me, why do you think it's always negative? I said, okay, enlighten me. I would like to know how social media is helping you. She said, because I am looking only for the content which I want to see. I want to know what's happening, what are the career options available, how can I can apply for these, and there are different small shorts on all these, which I am using for my law preparation, and it is helping me. So why do we say that social media is only negative? We have to use it well. If we use it well, it is going to be beneficial for us. Like even for us, we keep seeing what's happening in different schools, and it gives us an idea what else we can do and how we can equip our students and schools better.
Okay, quickly, just one last question for you, Pooja. What age should children, do you think? I know that you don't allow preteens to use smartphones, but in your mind, in your view, which age should children be first exposed to smartphones or to internet?
Honestly, I'm a very old school of thought. So according to me, it should be 16 years.
16. I
And
don't
not
think they'll
before
wait.
that. I know my students of 10 years are using social media. Some of them are using it to promote their own things. They're becoming entrepreneurs and they are selling stuff. They are putting it on. But with all the news around of strangers being on social media where they don't know, they can't differentiate between right and wrong, whether to talk to strangers, how much to use it. And at an age of 10, 11, they find it very fascinating. So there's a whole new world that they want to explore. They go here and there. So according to me, it shouldn't be before 16 years.
On that note, thank you so much, all of you, for coming here and taking your time off and sharing this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Priya, and thank you to all our panelists for joining us for that very interesting discussion, of course, on the success mantra and how schools are equipping their students with much more than just marks. All right, it's time now to continue this conversation on education and to speak more about holistic education in particular. Overall, development of students beyond the report card. Rethinking Holistic Education is the title of our next session. We have a very power-packed panel for this session too. We're joined by some of the best principals and best school heads across the Delhi NCR region. In this next session, we have with us Vibha Khosla, principal of Modern School Vasant Vihar. Could we please have you on stage, Vibhaji? Sameer Arora is also live with us, Shiv Nadar School principal, Gurgaon. Could we please have you on stage as well? Let's please welcome them with a round of applause. Let's have some energy in the room. It's the morning, so the energy should be high. The josh should be on top. Meenakshi Singhal is also with us, Principal, Pathway School, Gurgaon. And also joining us for this panel is Nikita Tomar Man, Principal of Indraprasth Global School, Noida. Could we also have you on stage? Thank you, all our panelists, for being with us today. And this session will, of course, be moderated by Editor-in-Chief of NewsX, Rishabh Gulati. Rishabh, the stage is yours.
Uday, thank you very much. What a chance to have a conversation on education with the educators themselves. We've gone through it, and I promise you, every time today when I see a person coming out of India's education system into the workforce, when I'm interviewing people, and I go back to class 8, class 9, which year was the Battle of Plassey fought, what is the first law of thermodynamics, and the situation is not good. All of us have studied these things. All of us have cleared those exams. Most of us who made it into Delhi University have cleared those exams at the highest of levels. But our memories of the basics that we learned often disappear. So the job of education, of course, is partly to clear the exams which qualify us as educated. But there is a holistic chapter to this. So Vebaji, let me begin with you, ma'am. How do we look at education of a human being, of a child that is going to grow into a human being, where it's not just about the coursework and the completion of the coursework and not just about clearing that particular exam?
So first of all, thank you so much, and a very good morning to everybody here. And it's a very valid question, that what exactly is education and what are we doing in today's time? I think most of us who are sitting here, we don't even know what we are preparing our children for, because time is changing very rapidly. So when you are asking about what education exactly should be when we are preparing them in today's time, should be out from the rote learning to understanding, and it should go to our smriti. So smriti is when we understand a concept and we take it to our level of understanding where it can be applied, it can be analyzed, and it can be used to create. But in today's time, with NEP coming, competency-based learning which has come up, we are going ahead and taking a lot of initiatives, doing a lot of things. But the education, which exactly and how it should be, is a question mark. So I would want to go back on the question once again, that you exactly are wanting me to say that what education should be, or what is that we are doing right now.
Yes.
So what education should be.
Yes.
So education has to be basically where understanding is developed, where there is depth, where it is not only for assessment, like the topic that you've given, it should be beyond the report card. So the things that we learn in our life are not essentially the ones that we have always done for rote learning. Like you mentioned these topics, I'm not aware about it. I've forgotten all this, but the basic skills we are aware about. So it has to be skill-oriented, it has to be value-based, it has to be ethical, and education has to be holistic, which is catering to our mind, body, and soul. It should go within us, we should internalize it, it should be intrinsic.
Because if you, at the end, as we grow older, into our age, all we can hope for the next generation is that they're good human beings. But when you are a teacher, you have to deliver results. When you're a parent, you want to see this result takes me to this entrance, takes me to this university. So it turns into very petulantly practical, which also is a pressure. So let me probe in Sameerji on this. Sameerji, we have that challenge of the immediate, of what we need to do next week, the next unit test, the next semester exam, the next exam that is taking place. Then we have to go to college, and it goes on, first job, first appraisal, first promotion is the immediate. But in a sense, how are we building the love of learning in our next generation?
I think I'll pick up from where Vibha left. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi's education philosophy which mentioned that education is drawing the best in a child's mind, body, and spirit. And fundamentally, if you look at historically the Indian education system, it was preparation for life. But having lived a colonial era for a long period of time, we moved education for life for education for vocation. While vocation is subset of life, but vocation is not life. This is where the challenge is coming in. Everything we are doing today is to prepare children for just tomorrow, and not day after, and not a decade later, not 2 decades later. So if you look at the recent report by OECD, which is talking about education for human flourishing, which is originally what our Vedas, what our text talked about, that children have to have certain skills in life to be able to live purposefully. First is they're talking about adaptive thinking, ethical decision making, understanding the world, appreciating the world, and acting in the world. So coming back to your point, how does a child enjoy learning? That's your question, if I correct it right. If you look at this lens, does our ecosystem on day-to-day basis allow children to come in face-to-face this dilemma of thinking beyond right and wrong? Because every question has a right answer or a wrong answer. Are we giving them situations where they're making ethical decisions on day-to-day basis? Do we have time for them to wonder and pause and look around in the world, appreciate what it is? Do we have given them an agency to change something within the school ecosystem? We've got a room full of principals. How many of us enable students to come back and question us as leaders and say, can I walk into the principal's office and question why exams, why unit tests, what does it lead to, right? So I think fundamentally, unless we build student agency in how they learn and what they learn, and go back to the basics, which is education for life, which is what Shivnada School philosophy is also, we're not going to build joy in learning.
But Sameerji, within this abstract, I'll give you an example, especially for young students about to enter the workforce. When I started my first job, my first interview was done by the head of Aaj, okay? And I sat in a room, and he said, okay, how old are you? I was 22, 23. Give me a solution to the problem of Kashmir. It wasn't a straightforward question of what happened on so-and-so date, in which year did India win this particular cricket match. It was an abstract question. Now, when we pose abstract learning, one of the school trustees was speaking to me just a few days ago, and he was telling me that the cognitive reports are now telling us that in the examinations, where you used to read paragraphs, 750-word paragraphs in an examination, and then be asked questions on that paragraph, all of those have been reduced to a single sentence. And a factual question rather than an abstract question. Because we are trying to listicle examinations so that, the examinations are less subjective, they're more objective. But where is the room for this cognitive abstract learning, which is very important because we need people to be thinking out of the box for the world's challenges?
So I think that's where the school system comes into play. I'll give you one example what we do at Shivnada School. We have a technology curriculum. We don't necessarily do PowerPoints and Words and Excels. All of that can be learned online. Children learn skills over a period of 7 years, 8 years in their journey. In grade 10th, which is the first public examination of their life, they go out in the real world in a group of 5 to 6, find a world problem which they want to solve. And that runs through the year of grade 10th. So what it teaches them, because we also understand, we recognize we're dealing with children who are protected, who are scaffolded at home, who are, single child house, coming from single child household, only parents living in. So how do you build resilience? How do you build critical thinking? By teaching them the life is not linear. There's not one challenge when you enter the workforce which you have to solve. One test, one exam. You have to do everything. So they play sports in the morning, they come and do technology classes, and they go out in the evening in the real world to find out the challenge which calls out to them and they want to solve. So, and all that happens in the year they're writing their first public examination, which is grade 10th.
Yes, because, I can totally relate that as a parent, I'm worried about what the child is doing in school. But as an employer, person who is hiring people, especially young journalists who have to take care of so many things in a given day, my objective on life skill is different. I don't mind lack of knowledge. Knowledge you can acquire. Google is there, ChatGPT is there. Eventually Elon Musk will come with some Neuralink. He'll put a chip in your brain, is what he's telling us. It's discipline, diligence. This is what I value. A person is a disciplined person. They're going to go a long way in life. Knowledge you can acquire all the way. So let me put that thought to Meenakshi ji. Meenakshi ji, in these skill sets of the value of life that build the cognitive mindset beyond what I just memorized yesterday, What can we actually do better?
I think as schools, we have a huge responsibility these days to develop whatever it is that you're talking about. We've moved away from, we have to, and we have moved away from, compliance. It's about, okay, learning what I have to learn and just take it out on a piece of paper. And that's just plain compliance. There's nothing more to it. So we have moved away from what is in a textbook to real life situations. We have moved away by giving opportunities to students to be able to do unstructured problem solving. I give them something that they have to think about, that they have to create, that they have to ideate about, to collaborate about, create probably a prototype, and then get to where they are getting. So just by giving these kind of opportunities in a regular classroom, in the curriculum, as a part of a daily routine rather than just a one-off thing. Applying I teach them the design thinking process, but it's not just applicable in a technology classroom. It has to be applicable everywhere. I ask them a story. I say, how does a dog get across the bridge and to get to a bone? That it is across a river. And the child has to go through that entire process to come to a solution and find a solution to a problem as simple as that. So giving them opportunities to think out of the box. I mean, we say, okay, we have to think out of the box. How do we do that? It becomes an everyday part of learning. And that's the only way that we can
Meenakshi, you would think, I'm probably the last generation where access to knowledge was also a subject to purchasing power in class. If you needed access to books, you had to have access to libraries. There were only so many in Delhi. That has completely changed. We are now inundated. There is no shortage of access to knowledge, but it almost seems that the children are overwhelmed because all the global cognitive test statistics are telling us that the generation now, rather than improving cognitively, which they've improved for the last 200 years because schooling systems have become better, kids are in school longer, it's declining. So is it overwhelming information? What's going wrong?
It is overwhelming information because there is so much available out there. But you see, that is just information. It is not learning. It is not knowledge. So I think for us to decipher what is the difference between just information and what is actually learning. Learning is construction. Learning is when you experience something and that leads to an observation, that leads to an analysis, that it leads to you constructing meaning out of that experience. And this doesn't start somewhere in the older years. It starts very young. For a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, you provide experiences that get them to construct meaning out of everyday experiences. And you're developing mindsets, you're developing competencies, you're developing cognitive flexibility. That is how by giving them different situations and different experiences, you develop mindsets and competencies.
Let me put the same question to Nikitaji. Nikitaji, why are we seeing this odd situation where you think with the universalization of knowledge, with the skills available, 900 million smartphones, every single Indian in this room is consuming 1 GB of data per day. Knowledge is there, it's available. And AI and LLMs are only going to make it easier to access the knowledge. You no longer even have to go to the website to read up, it gives you a summary. It should become easier, but cognitive skills are declining globally. Why is that the case? How do we fight back?
So, we just keep talking about knowledge acquisition, we talk about skills, but the key word here is competency, because we talk about competency including knowledge, skills, and attitude. And what you spoke about, personality traits and other skill sets like discipline or perhaps conflict management, things that children are likely to see in the world that they're going to face in a couple of years, is important to teach children. So I feel that what we're doing is, earlier what we used to do, and now with NEP coming in, I'm glad that somebody tried to address that issue through a document, which when a good school is ordinarily doing many of those things already, like our schools do that. So what we focus on is not really the content, because content is no longer the king.
It is the conceptual understanding that's important. So instead of cramming 50 chapters that a child does in a year, if you focus on 10 concepts which are important, I think the cognitive abilities will increase in a child because you're focusing on understanding, you're focusing on doing that very concept in 3 different ways so that you address all kind of learners and focus on all the multiple intelligences that occur in society. So you're not looking at one kind of learner, you're not looking at teaching in a particular way, you're not looking at knowledge being handed out to a child through just assessments and a high-stake exams at the end of the session. You're looking at a lot of active interaction between an educator and a child in a class. You're looking at children learning from one another, peer learning. You're looking at children handling a lot of their emotional conflicts that they have with their peers. We spoke about it earlier that, children are now coming from single families. There's somebody who spoke even earlier in the panel, and I was a little, a little difference in opinion because the person happened to be an educator of history, and she said, history is considered a boring subject. Well, I think at the end of the day, it depends on the educator, because when we say critical thinking is limited only to STEM-based subjects, it's incorrect. Critical thinking is also, very much possible in subjects like political science and history. I mean, you have so many events that have happened in the world. If you question even one event and the sequence of events that led to a particular war or any major happening that happened in the world, you can break it down to critically analyzing each event and saying that if this had happened, probably it would have changed the course of event. So the way you are, transacting knowledge is where the crux lies in a school.
No, not only can, you must. I'll give you an example of abject problem solving. If I do this, breaking news coming in, we have a direct information coming right now from Delhi that somebody has slapped the third other person. Oh my God, live visuals coming on my screen. Sound familiar? Okay, and that's what you have stereotyped person like me. All right? Now I'm the next generation of TV news editors. And I remember in school that our teachers taught us the story of Cry Wolf. Okay? That if once you say Cry Wolf, everybody will come running. Then you say it again, everybody will come running. And the third time you say it, they won't take you seriously. So if I keep screaming and shouting on television every day, you might watch the first time. Oh my God, what happened? Second time you'll watch it. Third time you'll go, this guy just shouts. What's the point? That's critical problem solving. It is relevant. You have to ponder, you have to do part philosophy, part thinking where you are coming from. Children who don't know their history know neither whence they came nor whither they go. So Vebaji, in a larger context of holistic learning, where we also have to accept the pragmatism that parents are putting you under pressure for deliverables. What is the exam result? What is your school record? How many trophies did you win? And how difficult it is to pitch that your child has to have a longer future. We have to think long term in that pressure environment.
That's a very valid question, and I think somebody has to bring the change. So we have to move beyond the report cards. We have to change the mindset of the parents. We have to change the way the assessments are being done. When we are taking care of the assessments, it is mostly a summative assessment that we take care of. Instead of taking care of the summative assessment, it has to move on to a formative assessment. We have to start enjoying the process of how we are teaching and how children are learning. And once, we stand up that this is what we do, it's not going to be easy. Parents will focus on marks. Students will focus on marks. It's very rightly said that after grade 9th, no activities, because now the child has to go ahead and make the career and has to focus on the marks. So whatever activities my child is doing should be done only till grade 8th, maximum grade 9th. So somebody will have to take a stand there. We will face the rebellion.
How tough is it after class 9? Because a lot of kids these days start preparing for competitive examinations.
Yes.
A lot of them want to sit for foreign examinations. SATs has become very common in India these days. So that distraction away from school, from the day-to-day classroom, even the school curriculum, how much of that does that add to what a child has to do in a particular day?
See, it's not tough. if we look at schools like what we are, and there are schools which we are government schools also, the exam that our children are giving is for everybody, and everybody is cracking that exam. But when it comes to making, their own portfolios, that's the time children are spending most of the time at that, on those things. So there's a lot of diversion that happens. Knowledge is available. A child does not need knowledge, but we are assessing that. So you will see children who are rote learners are coming up to be the best. And the thinking process diminishes because we don't let them think. I have seen children asking a question and I'm speaking very candidly, teacher saying, "Aise hi yaad kar lo, these are the key words that you should be knowing, and that's where you're going to be marked and you will get marks for." Are we checking where they're understanding? Is it going inside them? Are they imbibing it for life? So whatever we are doing, there has to be a systemic change. We, schools like us, I'm okay if my children fail. I have no problem. I don't want a 100% result. But my children should be learners for life. They will be successful. And I think you yourself, being a modernite, you know that it has to be out of the box. Let's not put them back in the box. If we face any kind of challenge, then that's our role to take.
I agree with you because my schooling skill set applicable to me now had very limited basis in the classroom. It was everything else I did in school. Let me take up that thought with Sameerji, because Sameerji, there is a different trend of history, tangent of history. My father is a chartered accountant, his elder sister is an architect, grandfather was an engineer, everybody else in the army. This was the quite typification of the middle class family where everybody had a professional job, right? That's engineer, doctor, architect, chartered CA kar lo, otherwise armed forces are there. Now it's sports and entrepreneurship, and it seems that the other trend of history is saying that kids these days have, a smorgasbord of things that they can pick up and do. That is also a part of holistic learning. So where does that fit into school education?
I'll again pick up from what Vibha said and leave you with one nudging thought. It says, we generally discuss a lot in our staff meetings. We say, we measure what we don't value, but we value what we value we don't measure. Right? It's easy to measure marks, but we don't value marks in real life. When you go in an employer, the first question is not, what is your percentage in grade 10, 12th, and, degree. So what is hard to measure is what matters in life. Entrepreneurial mindset, problem solving, ethical decision making, adaptive thinking. This also going back to the same framework, OECD's framework of human flourishing. So I think a school needs to create a lot of opportunities for young learners. It's also gig economy. I think what I probably earn over a decade, a child who's a part of gig economy might just earn it 1 year, right? So fundamentally, what are the opportunities for them to learn beyond what they can learn at home? World does not need necessarily schools today to transact teaching and learning. There are the Khan Academies of the world doing quite phenomenally well. They need a web of relationships where they can connect, make meaning of what they're learning in a group setting, develop entrepreneurial mindset, develop problem solving. So what are the structures? And let's be honest, we are also an economy of limited opportunities and large population. So there will always be that supposedly objective lens of marks and performance and everything else. We cannot reduce that from the ecosystem. What is important is while we continue to build these capabilities, we also have opportunities for children to find making meaning of what they're learning. And that is where frameworks of clubs, frameworks of what we do, colloquium,
Yes.
real world problem solving, all of that comes in. And it is not that if you're succeeding in one, you will fail in the other and you won't do well in the other. That's a norm, we believe. If you build resilience in children to get through academics as well as other, they're good for life.
Okay, so Meenakshi ji, is that the model? I mean, that's the model we wish for, right? That you play sports also, because even if you don't excel in it, it keeps you healthy. It's a good thing that you have other interests and you do okay in academics as well to a certain baseline and beyond. That would be the ideal model. Now, but the ideal model necessarily doesn't exist. How free are you to advise a parent that says, इनको बैडमिंटन खेलने दो, it's okay, that's the passion, this girl is good at it, let her go for it, who knows, or let her become a Kathak dancer, or let her learn the violin, there is a future in all of this. How free do you feel as an academic to give this kind of advice?
You know, the world is opening up to these ideas now, and parents are opening up, and that is the shift that we really want to see. Of course, there is a majority who still does not, who only believes in the traditional professions and wants to push their child. I know of a set of parents who took their child out of grade 6 to say that I want to put them in a school that starts training them for IIT from grade 6 onwards. So yes, there are people like that, but then there are most people who come and say that we want a skill-based education for our child because that is what the world is demanding these days. And I want my child to be on top of the game. So we would like you to, you know, we endorse the kind of curriculum you provide. We will help our child to master the skills that you would like to teach, you are teaching in the school. And also, they are, a lot of them say, well, we are okay with whatever profession he or she chooses. So the world is, you know, opening up. There has been a shift in thinking. There has been a cultural shift. I think because professions these days are beyond boundaries. People are traveling across the world all the time. So businesses are open in different parts of the world. People travel these days. So they know the kind of people they meet, the kind of skill sets that are required. And they want to see those skill sets in their child now rather than later, because they know that they learned them the hard way when they were actually, you know, put into that profession or in that spot at that point of time when they'd gone out of college, when they actually joined the profession. But for them to see their children be able to have those kind of mindsets and competencies and develop them from a very young childhood, for them it's important. And they are endorsing what we do as schools. So
Can
that's
I
a
just
huge
add
shift.
point?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
Ma'am. I think fundamentally, as a school culture, what parents experience explicitly as well as implicitly is what they understand. One way is, just like you ask a question to ma'am, how can you communicate to so many parents? Do you have time? Principals do have time. Of course, in all the other things we do, we can write a quarterly newsletter. But when the parents walk into the school, what is they being celebrated? Is it only one dimension of success, which is academics? Do they see a child who's excelled well in arts or sports or technology or community service, his name on the wall, along with toppers? Then they understand the success dimension is not linear. There are many models of success, and academics is one of them.
Okay, Nikita ji, I'm short of time, so let me pick up the thought, because education has to continue from the pedagogy which a school represent to home and to all other environments. We're learning all the time. We want the parents to be more engaged, I'm assuming. We want, as a parent, to be a person interested in the future of their child. But at the same time, what's the balance for a parent? I remember my parents were very involved till class 5, and after class 6, they said, now you figure it out. If there is a problem, don't call us to speak to your principal to bail you out. I mean, if you mess up something, you sort it out. So you want the parents to be involved, but at what point of time are they too involved?
So we involve the parents for them to understand in case a child is going through something where we need to understand what's happening at home. That is when we invite the parents to speak to them. We have parent engagement programs and specific forums where we discuss and deliberate on a lot of programs that the school does for them to, for it to be a complete buy-in, so that a parent understands why and what is the philosophy behind a certain program that a school has launched. Say, for instance, like our school does a socio-emotional learning program right from grades 3 upwards, for a child to be able to express himself or herself, talk about their emotions freely, to be able to identify what they are feeling, because that is something that is the beginning of what mental health is all about. Now, for a parent to understand why we are doing a program like this, the discussion has to happen. So this happens. Financial literacy is something we teach as a school right from grade 3 upwards. Difference between needs, wants, it has to start as young as that. For a parent to understand why are you talking about money in school, the discussion has to happen. Then things like conflict management. We teach conflict management right from grade 3 upwards again, because children do have conflicts with each other. Every time you don't expect a
parent or a teacher to step in. We ask the children if they've had some kind of a scuffle or some kind of an altercation. We have a peace table. We bring them to that. We ask the children to discuss with each other. There's an adult, significant adult around them all the time. And to identify where they went wrong. Could they have done it differently? Could I have averted this problem that I'm in right now? And many times you'll find it very surprising that children can be so mature that they come up with, yes, ma'am, I think I could have controlled my emotions. I should have not pushed him. I should have spoken to him. I should have sought help from my teacher. So this has to be taught as a skill right from childhood. There's no perfect age that, okay, now you're in grade 6, now you're independent. Now you're in grade 6, now you should know what bullying is. It starts right from the early years. Only the scale to which you deal with it changes with
so
time.
we are all educators here. So let me end this conversation with this thought. And these are just tiny life lessons. I have a lot of young people. I can see Ariana there, Savri there, okay, all been, they're in their early 20s. For the parents who are watching this, think about it. I'm sure you work in firms or run your own businesses. When you are looking to hire someone, what is it that you're looking for? I'll tell you what I look for. Number one is discipline. Can you just show up to work on time, regularly? That's it. It's simple as that. Everything else I can teach you. Media may, how to sit in front of a camera, how to read a teleprompter, how to ask a question, how to sit. I'll teach you, no problem. Just show up on time. Be open to learning. And I measure character. I deliberately put these young people under a lot of pressure just when they've started, just to see how they respond to pressure. I'm not expecting them to take on my stresses and my workload, but I have to remind them that one day you will. And you have to mentally explore, because most of us are in the knowledge economy. Nobody's doing heavy lifting on the streets. Mental character. This is what we judge on. So if you as parents are judging your employees, that are they disciplined, are they diligent, are they honest, are they trustworthy, this is why I have my job. I have to be extremely trustworthy, I have to be honest, and I have to be diligent. And one mistake is the end of my career. One thing I do wrong ends it. So if this is what you are judging your colleagues and employees and bosses and others on, this is what you should be teaching your children, hopefully as well. Fine educators that we have here, all of them are doing a fabulous job. Perhaps they need more support than confrontation from the parents as well. Thank you very much to all four of you for having this conversation. And we have an award ceremony coming up very shortly. But with that, Uday, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Rishabh. Yes, that was a very interesting panel, of course, talking about everyone's role within the education system, rethinking of holistic education. That was, of course, the discussion, the talking points on that panel as we continue, of course, our first-in-class Awards and Conclave 2026. Remember, as we've been telling you since the morning, this is not just an event, it's the start of a platform, the start of a conversation on the education sector by ITV Network. And we are, of course, going to move on in just a bit to our next, of course, session, which is about how educational institutions, how educationists are also leading societal change and are also making an impact on society. Well, what am I talking about? That is something our next presenter, of course, will tell you. Our next speaker will tell you in the form of a presentation. But before we move to this next session on Children of Change, the Yamuna River Initiative, let's in fact show you a short film on what this Yamuna River Initiative really is. So before this presentation, let's quickly play out this very special short movie.
The Yamuna is more than just a river. It's the heartbeat of North India. For centuries, it has nourished civilizations, inspired poets, and sustained life. But today, that heartbeat is faint. As it flows through our cities, the lifeline becomes a dream. We've grown disconnected from the very water that keeps us alive. For the first time in decades, the classroom is moving to the riverbank, allowing our youth to reconnect with a legacy we almost lost.
Yamuna River Initiative is a multi-layered interdisciplinary intervention designed by the Modern Institute for Education to restore the bond between the community and the Yamuna through education, advocacy and action.
We did not want to do knee-jerk activities. We did not want to send children just to pick up garbage along the Yamuna banks. What we wanted to do was educate them. We wanted to educate them about the environment, about the needs of the city, and how important it is that we have to conserve and protect and respect our water.
नदियों को सिर्फ एक संसाधन के रूप में नहीं बल्कि एक जीवित संस्था के रूप में, व्यक्ति के रूप में, एक अपनी निजी सत्ता के रूप में बच्चे पहचानेंगे, तभी उससे दोस्ती करेंगे और वो उनकी देखभाल करेंगे.
Working in collaboration with the New Delhi Municipal Council, they are building a future rooted in awareness, empathy and collective stewardship.
We have implemented Yamuna Yari projects in the 43 schools of NDMC. And with this project, we could reach to 28,000 students.
Reclaiming the Yamuna starts with education. Yari starts by bridging the gap between the classrooms and the riverbank, teaching students that the Yamuna is not just a resource, but a living entity that has shaped our history and biodiversity for centuries.
स्टूडेंट के लिए हर लेवल पर हमको उनके सिलेबस में ये चीज़ें लानी होंगी और उनको सेंसिटाइज करना होगा किसी भी चीज़ के गंदा होने के लिए कितने लोग दोषी होते हैं.
Whether it was a website which our students created, whether it was the the robotic project that the students worked on, or it was the app that they worked upon, every dimension of the Yamuna and its creative paradigm was taken up very creatively with our students.
The place to learn about the Yamuna.
Everything here, soil samples have been collected from the Yamuna basin.
Awareness turns into action as students analyze real-world challenges, from urban water scarcity to the toxins and waste disrupting our natural water cycle.
स्मेल तो सर वहाँ की बहुत ही खराब है और वाटर बिल्कुल ब्लैक. तो हम लोग ये सोच के शॉक हो गए कि ये हम कंज्यूम करते हैं, हम पीते हैं इसको.
I decided to get involved because I saw the plight of the Yamuna and I saw how bad the condition was.
By exploring sustainable management and river cleaning technologies, Yari is empowering a new generation to take personal responsibility for a healthy, flowing ecosystem.
What it does is that it's propelled forwards, remotely hand-controlled. It rotates backward, and it has a conveyor belt attached to it that helps clean the surface of the river.
This project helps us to test water quality and avoid contamination at early stages.
What began as a pilot is now a movement. Across more than 50 schools, over 40,000 students have taken the Yari pledge, committing to be the voice for a river that cannot speak for itself. With 3 innovative water cleaning prototypes, 2 student-authored books and 5 specialized river apps, the Yamuna story is being retold through a vibrant fusion of science and the arts. This impact extends beyond the classroom into the heart of the community, where numerous presentations of prose, dance and songs alongside deep parental engagement are transforming households into active hubs of conservation.
नील लहरों में इतिहास की धड़कन समाई है, यमुना के तट पर संस्कृति मुस्काई है.
This isn't just data, it's a shift in culture. From powerful street plays that stir the community to scientific monitoring of the riverbanks, these students are proving that when you empower the youth, you secure the future of our water. The impact is no longer local, it is becoming institutional. Through a strategic collaboration with the CBSE, Yari is moving from a pilot phase to a staple of educational landscape across North India.
CBSE is already planning to launch this module in other Delhi schools also. And also CBSE would collaborate with Modern School to bring out a river project for different parts of the country.
The Yamuna has spent centuries giving life to us. Now it's our turn to give life back to her. Through the eyes of our students, we see a river reborn. The heartbeat of North India is growing stronger with the Yamuna River Initiative. The river is calling. The question is, will you answer? Join the movement.
What a noble initiative. Let's have a round of applause for that. A short film, of course, showing you about the work already done and the plans for ahead too. But to talk more about this and for a special presentation, we're now joined by the founder of the Yari Initiative and Secretary, Board of Trustees, Modern School, Ambika Pant. Ambika ji, could we please have you on stage for your presentation? Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you particularly for the opportunity to speak today on a subject that sits squarely at the intersection of education, environment, and citizenship. The Yamuna River Initiative, or YARI, and that acronym was deliberately planned specifically for the students of today, is a river-based interdisciplinary educational program developed by the Modern Institute for Education. Its purpose is simple but urgent: to connect children with the Yamuna River and rivers that sustain their city to build informed and responsible citizens. So while we were doing the research for this initiative, we spoke to students to understand from them what they knew about the Yamuna. And what we heard was very deeply unsettling. Shockingly, some of the children who were born and raised in Delhi, they didn't even know about the river. They told us, why isn't there a river in our state? They had traveled to different places, to Banaras and to places in Gujarat, and they were themselves unaware that they live alongside one of India's greatest rivers. This is the irony of our times, that many children in Delhi today, they experience the Yamuna not as a living river, but as a polluted water body under a bridge, or a nala, or a drain, or a blue line in a textbook on a map. This physical and emotional disconnect is not harmless. It creates water illiteracy. And water illiteracy in today's India is dangerous. Why? Because 18% of the world's population is dependent on just 4% of the global fresh water, of which 70% of the surface water is polluted. That's the water we drink. India's water challenges are growing faster than our children are, and climate change is turning once perennial Himalayan rivers into heavily monsoon-dependent river systems, and groundwater is being extracted faster than it can recharge. India is one of the largest extractors of groundwater. This scale is unmatched anywhere else in the world. And if we don't act now, water scarcity is not going to be a future threat. It's going to be something that will consume today's children during their own lifetimes. So this is why water education cannot remain fragmented, limited, or optional. Students study isolated topics in their textbooks, concepts like evaporation, or water table, rainfall, pollution, but they rarely understand the interconnectedness of how river systems connect ecology, economy, and culture. A meaningful water curriculum must help students see water as a shared, finite, and fragile resource. It must move students beyond awareness into ownership. And our national policies are already pointing us in that direction. I think the NEP and the NCF, they emphasize experiential learning, local knowledge systems, and environmental consciousness. So in Delhi, what could be a better water classroom than the Yamuna, a river that embodies our city's history and culture and meets over 70% of its water needs. Attitudes towards nature are shaped early in life. Children who learn, who observe, who question, and care for their environment, they'll become adults who make informed decisions. During our research, we learned of this one story that I would like to share with you. This is of a lady who was a Jal Mitra under the Jal Jeevan mission. So this lady, she spoke about water, and she told us that water is not just a resource issue, but it's also a gender issue. As women are the ones who typically look after households, they take care of the washing, cleaning, children, cooking, etc. If there is water scarcity, it primarily affects them. And then she told us, when she was a child, she was denied her education. Her brother went to school, but her job was to go and fetch water. And when she got married and she went to her husband's house, she was promptly handed the bucket and told, go and fetch water. And she decided to become a Jal Mitra only when she had a daughter, and she thought that my daughter is not going to lose her childhood to this same burden. This story illustrates to us the human cost of water mismanagement and also the human potential for fixing it. The Yari initiative places the Yamuna at the heart of learning, not just as an abstract idea, but as a living system connecting science, history, culture, and citizenship, as I said earlier. It asks students hard questions. Where does this water come from? Why is it polluted? What will happen to my family or my city? And most importantly, what is my role in its future? And early outcomes, as we saw in the documentary right now, they are encouraging through literature, through Nukkar Natak, through digital prototypes, and through research projects. Students are discovering that they are not powerless. They are part of the solution. Reports from UNICEF also show that children exposed to environmental education are more likely to conserve water and influence family and community behavior. A child who understands water scarcity will not waste water, and a child who understands rivers will protect them. So I'm going to end over here by reiterating that educating our children about their rivers is the most effective long-term investment that India can make in water scarcity. And as the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time to do that is today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambika Panji, for that presentation. As they say, a lot of learning happens inside the classroom, but a lot of learning happens outside too, through such initiatives as we saw. Okay, well, we are now going to be talking about the early years. Yes, formative building of children happens from a very early age too, and from a very early, class as well. And to speak all about that, we are very happy to be joined by the next panel, who of course several top educationists from across the Delhi NCR region. The next session is titled The Power of Care, Building Safe, Confident Learners from the Start. How do we go about this, and what are the lessons that some of our educationists can impart to others? That is something we're going to be learning from Khushbu Abbott, Principal, Pre-Primary, the RD School. Could we have you on stage? Nisha Bedi is also live with us, Principal, Daisy Dale School. Welcome. Vinita Maheshwari also joins the conclave today. Headmistress, Primary School, IP Global School, Noida. And we're also happy to have with us Sumita Malik, who is Head Early Years for the Shiv Nadar School, Noida. Let's welcome all of them with a loud round of applause. And this panel is going to be moderated by Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director of NewsX. So now time for some tiny tot talk, and let's talk about early education, confident learning from the start. How do we ensure this? Well, for that, let's go straight across to Priya for this panel.
Thank you so much, Uday, for this introduction. And thank you all for coming. As I said, keep saying, on a Sunday to get you all is a sacrifice indeed. I know how much you like your work week. But, you know, this is, we're talking about education, and early years are equally important. So there is, I think, aajkal the peer pressure starts from class 1 only, from nursery in fact. You have, and the peer pressure for you is not from children, I think, but from the parents. So can you tell us, how do you deal with, what are the expectations that people, parents come to you, aap unko kaise manage karte hain? Please start, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Very well said. Yes, of course, when we look at the school system and the pressure, it is actually from the parents, and they are not really looking at that very age group where the child is just entering the school space. They are only looking at grade 10, grade 12, what's going to happen then. And it's very important for us to handhold not just the child who's coming into the school space, but also handhold the parent, because it's the first step for the parent as well in a big school. So it's very important for the school to partner with the parent in the child's learning journey, because it's not just the experience what the child is going to be having, it is also the experience what the parent is going to be having throughout that journey. And the parent is also looking at the child being so anxious of making friends, understanding whether the child is going to learn, or maybe seeing whether, because the child is coming from maybe single homes, today there are parents who are also, children who are coming from broken homes as well. So there are a lot of pressures what the child is also coming with, because the experiences are very different. And that experience the parent is also actually giving to the child. So if you look at it, the entire household is coming to school space with a lot of stress. And as a school, it's important for us to not just handhold the child, but the parent as well in this journey. Yeah.
So Nisha ji, you also, you know, the expectations jo hai, and also what kind of, you know, in terms of education from the young age, what are the areas that you will emphasize on for the children?
Namaskar. Today the classroom is not merely a, a place of instructions. It has to be the ecosystem of trust. Right. The students should be comfortable. They should be very important for everybody, that there should be individual attention to all the students. First of all, the validation for every child that I have in the school, and this is a very safe place for me. First of all, the teacher should give at least 10 seconds to every child to at least find out the words he or she wants to speak. And a small hug or a high five or a validation before dismissal are very important things. The child should feel safe in the school, first of all. And the fear of punishment, we are not here to build the office of fear, but a hub of healing. Basically, a child should feel free, what he or she wants to speak. And the fear of punishment. The child should not think that, the mistake or the punishment is the suffering of the mistake. Right. It's not always wrong to make mistakes, because we all are humans, and the children, sometimes make mistakes. And one thing I want to suggest, the sitting plan. It should not be, the classroom should not be like a theater sort of thing, the theater sitting plan. It should be a small round tables where the child can sit and do the, activities, group activities, a peer pressure, as you have said. So it can be done by if the teacher creates the buddy system in the class, or the group activities, or the teacher should have one-to-one conversation with every child. I feel that is more important these days. And, validation for every child.
Yes.
Is very important.
No, I like that, the team spirit to, be with friends.
That's very important.
And also the teacher, because at that point, children need validation, they also need support. So Vinita, how would you, in terms of nurturing children, because now teachers are also nurturers really in the role at the primary level school, I think at every level, but primary more so. So how the role that you see parent-child, and then there is also, teacher-child and teacher-parent. How do you walk that fine line?
A very good morning to everyone, and really a privilege to be a part of this panel. So when we talk about children, the word care comes right there, along with it. And these days, I believe that if, feeling of love, affection, is instilled in a child right from the early years, they turn out to be confident individuals when they grow up. And it's very important for a child to be able to express himself. So this expression, if they grow up to express without fear, if they're ready to take risks, if they're ready to make a mistake and, correct it themselves, I think we've done our job. So in the early years, it's very important for us to give comfort to the child, build their trust. The child should feel that school is a safe space. This is my place to talk about. And for this, I feel communication is the biggest skill that we need to instill in children. There can be multiple ways. We do have, of course, class activities are there, group discussions are there. But besides this, Principal Tagore School, she mentioned that there has to be a space where children can just freely talk without any inhibition. So we have a buddy bench in our school. And in fact, in the primary corridors, we have 2 buddy benches, one in one corridor, one in the other one. And, if a child is feeling upset about anything and wants to express anything or just wants to be heard, the child goes and sits there. They know why it's there. So the moment any one of us sees a child sitting on the buddy bench, we just approach the child and speak to him. They know that they're not going to be judged. We are not going to say anything. It's just that the child can express what they are feeling right there and then. At times, children want to speak to specific teachers, They would like to speak to the HM only. And I'm sitting here because I need to discuss this, and I'm not happy talking to my class teacher. Okay, we'll talk about that. Why? But whom do you want to talk to is the next question. So we sit with the children. It could be something as simple as, my friend took away my eraser without my permission.
Correct.
And it could be as complex as my parents talk very loudly at home and I don't like it. My mom comes home very late. I don't know where she is. So things like those also come up with us. And when we feel that there is something where we need to talk to the parents, then we involve them. We involve our counselor, we involve the parents, and to get down to that place where the child feels comfortable and we can give an answer. We go up to that level. So I think Buddy Bench has really worked very well with us, and it's really a very comfortable space for them. In fact, all our classrooms have got small stages in the corner. So starting from LKG nursery classrooms till grade 2, we have a small stage in the corner where whenever any child wants to express anything, he goes up there, holds a mic, obviously not a real mic, but holds it and just, talks about it. Okay. During circle time also, they try to tell whatever they want, whatever has happened during the day. So anything important that needs to be given, we give children enough scope to express.
Okay. Now that is a very interesting concept, the buddy bench, in fact. And Khushbu, good to have you here. We're also going to be joined by Shivani Wazir from the Study School, the founder. Good to have you here, Shivani. And so Khushbu, we were talking about how, to integrate the young children and also to keep the parents out of the classroom. How do you do that?
So I would say in that early years, first of all, we cannot keep the parents outside.
Right.
They're a very integral part of the child growing up. And we, all of us being early childhood educators, we understand the importance of having them involved in those foundational stage, right? And I hear that the entire panel, we've been talking about emotional intelligence. The forums like world bodies like UNICEF is also, again, putting a lot of focus into the core skills being adaptability, creativity, collaboration for 2030. And everything is aligning and, reaching the same point of emotional intelligence when it comes to that. Parents realize that too. And it's not that the children have changed from what we were when we were growing up, but the world has changed. They're born in a world where they're getting differently wired, and it's a world of digitalization. It's a world of instant gratification. They're getting everything at the click of a button. There is overstimulation. There are over-expectations. There are too many choices. So, and for a better understanding, it's important for the child to have a synchronized home environment and school. So it's impossible for the school to be working on the child's holistic development without the parents' involvement. It's very important, and it's our prerogative to inform the parents and make sure that our parent community is also informed about what is good and what is not. So I feel it's extremely important for us to keep them involved and keep them informed.
Fair enough. Shivani, we were talking about how the teacher is not just a teacher but a nurturer also, especially at the very young level. So how do you, but on the other hand, there are the very unrealistic expectations from parents who want their child to become a nuclear scientist from day one. Your school should have this lab, that robotics, horse riding, this thing, 150 things, a golf course, everything in one school, when the child cannot even, reach up to the table. So how do you temper these expectations? How do you deal with aggressive parents?
So Priya, the power of suggestion is so huge, because you came and visited us at the study school in east of Kailash. And right now when you were talking to me, you brought up the horse riding and the golf course.
I remembered, yes.
Because we have it. So the thing is, this is actually much deeper than just a conversation. Do you realize that you didn't plan this, but because you had visited the school, you picked up the salient features of what the study school offers to children, and you brought that up. So for a child or a parent, it's not what is said. For any human being, it is what is felt. Yesterday, I was in school, and one little baby who can barely speak came and he started talking to me. I always, when I talk to the children, I bend down at their level. Okay. And he started saying, and I realized that he didn't have anything to say. He was not very articulate, but he wanted to say, you know what? I want your attention. So that is the bottom line. If a parent is saying, I need this for my child, I need that for my child, maybe they're in an environment where there is a lot of questioning of, have you made the right decision? And they just need to feel, yes, we've made the right decision. So in our society today, everyone is so rushed and running around all the time that it's hard to take out time to be able to match the dots and complete this communication. I don't think parents are hard. I think life is tough for everyone because multitasking is the norm. But if you give an ear to a child and a parent, then we can do what's best for children. And at the end of the day, education is not about completing phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Education is about doing what's best for the child.
Very well said, Shivani. But Sumita, we are also living in an age where, we cannot ignore the social media, even at a very young. You may say classrooms, phones are not allowed in the classroom, but they will all go home and look at the phone, and that's what they spend half the time in. So in terms of the age of hybrid learning, what is the primary source of information for the kids? You can use digital for good also to, make the classroom more interesting. So how do you, what is your approach towards digital to the kids? Vis-a-vis the kids, do they play a role in the classroom at all?
So, of course, children are exposed to screens, I would like to call it, rather than social media at that age. They are exposed to screen at home. We can't stop that. It's there. It's there to stay. However, when we are looking at technology, it is very important for us as educators to first understand it better. And also to know that how can we use it in our classrooms. So if we want the child to experience, maybe go to look at some great paintings in the world and have a virtual tour of an exhibition. We can maybe bring that in the classroom through technology, rather than really looking at screens and just letting the child sit and just look at screens. Because research, it should not be unmonitored. Because research has also told us that at least till the age of 8, the exposure of screen should be dual. It should not be a passive exposure. So it's very important for us as educators to understand that what is very important, what we have to give to the child at this particular age, and how much. And it's also important for us to, again, like I come back to the previous point of hand-holding parents. It's very important for us to also hand-hold parents to understand that how much of screen they should expose their child to, because that is also very important. Because we know that, I'm sure all the early years educators and the parents who are watching us would agree that when we were young, we were not so, I would like to not use word hyper, but maybe to wanting to do a lot of things. We wanted to move a lot. We didn't. We wanted to go out and play in the field. But here, now what's happening because of the screens, our children are, we are wiring their brains to move very quickly. And because of that, in schools, we are having a lot of cases where we need to involve our special educators. There are a lot of children who are coming with different kind of diverse needs. We have to work with children like that now. So it's very important that we as educators, as schools, should also work with parents to make them understand how much screen is good for them and what is the harm effect of that.
I know we used to have good touch, bad touch. Now we have good screen, bad screen, really. But Nishaji, in terms of, career choices, I know kids are too young, but, the parents send kids to school with a certain, concept that ye bada hoke doctor, lawyer, you train him to be on science, maths. But now the subjects are open. There is so much, even the arts, you can have a career which gives you money in terms of being creative. So do you have career counseling at a young age? Do you see children coming with preconceived ideas where parents are telling कि इसको ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है? How do you break it down for the children?
Yeah, in the modern era, you need to run, he need to do this. They don't care whether their child is interested in painting, art, music, or whether the child is ready for the sports or not. They don't, care at all. And some say that our child need to be doctor, as all our family members are doctors, and it is our family pressure. So, the child comes to school with a baggage, sometimes I feel. So, this is really sad sometimes.
So do you have parent-teacher meetings where you
Yeah,
talk
we
to
have
them?
parent counseling also. We sometimes talk
Parent
to
counseling,
parents.
I like that.
Yeah, we do have parents counseling also sometimes. Some cases are very, very serious that need to be a proper attention, and experts need to be involved in that. But having said that, there are many students, who needs to flourish as they want. Keeping baggage at a very small age is not very important and not advisable also. The child need to see what he wants to do. You know, if sometimes we always, we don't listen to child. And the teacher, sometimes we should see the teacher should also be very patient and, very soft in the class. And they should give 1 minute or 10 seconds to the child to speak.
Yes, yeah.
And I always said that never criticize the child. It's very important, criticize the behavior. So we need to see what are the child needs, what are the child interests, and family background is also important. But the parents also need to understand that being the career choice should be left in the hand of the child. They can guide the child, they can, push the child to a certain extent, but not to the extent that, it's out of hand.
Correct.
Or sometimes...
you don't want to traumatize the child.
Yeah, traumatize the child is the right word.
Fair enough. But Vinita, to go in terms of, disciplining. Now today, or in terms of mark sheets, okay, for a very young age, I don't think we give marks, we give A, B, C, D, or not even, we don't want to just compete. Everybody should be, encouraged and supported. But at some point, marks do come in because the world is such. So at what level do you think children, do you start marking the kids? And do you have first, second, third, or nobody fails?
Ma'am, in our school, till primary, till grade 5, we have only grades. Of course, marks are there. Till grade 2, it's only, we just write down progressing, proficient, or just beginner. So those are the kind of grades we give them.
Okay.
So it really doesn't make a difference because it's a big bandwidth where a child can fall. So till grade 2, it's not at all, marks don't play any role at all. When we come to grades 3, 4 and 5, yes, we start marking them. We have 20 marks tests and all that. But then that's not the only component of testing, We have so many other internal assessments which keep happening, which parents don't even get to know. So,
and what do these internal assessments look at?
Yeah, so they're like quizzes, which we have in class. Then we have group discussions. We have activities and projects, which the children do collaboratively, and then they present. So when it's a group presenting, all of them benefit. If a person who doesn't speak so much and a child who's very vocal, the entire group gets the benefit of it. Okay. So that is how we encourage talking in the class. Then other assessments like just speaking skills, listening skills. So those are done without giving the stress to parents because we don't want them to keep preparing them, because the moment you say there is an assessment, parents start preparing the kids. So that's
you don't give homework to the parents.
No.
Good.
We try. Minimum homework is just to read something and come back. And from grade 6 onwards, yes, we do have marking system because that is the time when they start feeling that they need to now formalize the assessment system, and they're called exams. So we don't really call them assessments. And this keeps going on in different ways. We have a tab lab in our school for primary kids till grade 5. And these tablet labs have got tabs where we have put in educational games. So children go there, they're doing gamification, they're enjoying, but they're on concepts which they've done in the class. So they don't even get to know, and we just watch and we see how well they're doing. Okay. We've got, a pretend play area for the tiny ones, the pre-primary department. Children go in there and they, there's a pet grooming station, and there is an aeroplane we've got made where, they have to check in. So the teacher stands there like at the gate, and they give them a small card, and that's how they can enter the plane. Okay. We've got a supermarket there. So they go pick up this kind of stuff they would like to have.
I will have a later conversation with you because I can see we're running out of time. So I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. But
no problem.
Khushbu, in terms of digital age, how do you tackle the issue of reading? How do you encourage kids to read? Are they reading at all, the kids?
So you actually asked a very relevant question in today's age, because we do see that there is a lot more effort which needs to be put in for children to pick up reading. When they are in that early age, it becomes the responsibility of the adult to inculcate those habits, and they love to imitate the adults. It's important for the child to see those habits being at home and at school as well. As a school, it becomes our prerogative to bring that together in our curriculums and make it inclusive. For that, we do have programs such as book clubs. We have book exchange, which are running very well in the pre-primary itself, where students are bringing their favorite books once a week. They have those little cards, and they love exchanging their books and talking about it. There is so much being done to make it more inclusive, for involving them, speaking about it, making props around it. So it becomes a whole project around the books itself. And then we have parents who do parent-led sessions, and they come and do storytelling. And as they say, that whether it's active or passive, storytelling and reading should be a part of at least the bedtime, because it's proven that once you're doing bedtime reading is the best time for children to even express themselves about anything that they've gone through the whole day. So that is my take on that, and a very special part of the day for all parents. And I would advise everybody to take out those books, and when they see their parents doing that and not being on phones around them, because we're talking about the digital age, the students will also pick that up. And the library plays a very important role in our school, wherein we are giving them the right books. They're all age catered, etc. And the students are definitely picking it up.
Oh, I'm so glad, and you're right, parents should teach by example and read also by example. But Shivani, how would you, in your view, what is a holistic education? What all would it entail if I say, your study school offers? So in terms of how do you balance digital versus reading, sports versus parent interaction, social interaction, how would you sum it up?
So, Priya, the thing is, 0 to 6 is the most delicate time in a child's life. And early childhood education and care is an aspect that people appreciate. It's part of a graph, but they don't give it its due. So a parent will think about, what will my child do when it grows up? Which institution will my child go to be able to be enabled to do what we've thought that this child can do? But who is that child? What is that child's temperament? Is it an anxious person? Is it a person who gets a panic attack every time there's a performance or a delivery that needs to be achieved? Is it someone who is happy and smiling? So the temperament of a person gets developed. By the time you're 6 years old, you are who you will be at 60. So therefore, the holisticness, which you said, Priya, is essential. A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. Please tell me which child has been through school and college and doesn't know these things. Everybody does. But how many children know what it is to eat a balanced diet? How do they know what is it to choose? This food will make me strong and healthy. I need to have this array of things in my daily intake. I need to eat it in a way that my body can have the absorption of these nutrients, which means to chew and to not watch television while you're eating your food. So these are the things that as adults we're still watching television and eating our food. Because in our early childhood, no one said that when you look at your food, it's different colors so that your digestive juices get secreted. If I am talking to you and I am looking there, you are not going to be interested. So if you are eating your food and not looking at the food, that food will not be absorbed by your body. So nutritional knowledge, fitness. Now there's a tremendous awareness. People are going to gyms, they are exercising, but fitness is not a one-day fad. Fitness is something that you should wake up and say, I really need to play badminton, or I need to go for a run, or I want to go for a ride. It should be part of what you do. Like you brush your teeth, you have fitness integrated into your life. So our sports day is coming up on the 14th, on Valentine's Day, and we're calling it Love Fitness. So children will fall in love with fitness. In fact, one of our alumni is coming as our chief guest. He's in grade 12, and he is Aryavir. He is a junior Asian squash champion, and he sent me his photograph on the trampoline at the study school when he was a tiny little baby. Last year we had Hitashi Bakshi.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
And she's a golfer. So now children know that, okay, this is what golf is about. We have a book we are releasing, which is my first book of golf. So holistically speaking, it's just nutrition, fitness, and different windows being opened so that children can decide, A, who they want to be, as in their personality, and B, what they want to do.
On that note, I think the biggest message really here is also for the parents, teach by example. So that is what the teachers are telling you, take that home. But for that, thank you so much. I'm sorry, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much for that insightful panel over there. Thank you so much. Well, the next panel is extremely interesting. Students, they don't think close-ended. They have brains, they think big, they don't make themselves feel like we can only think in a restrictive manner. So how is it that educators and, in fact, parents make them, and in fact, encourage them to think big, to understand the fact that thinking should not be one-directional but unidirectional? That's the conversation we're taking forward, which is peer pressure and the price of belonging. In fact, I would like to call on stage Ms. Shikha Vij, Counselor Step by Step School, Noida, Ms. Sanchi Khanna, Counselor, Modern School, Vasant Vihar, Ms. Talish Ray, parent from Sanskriti School, Ms. Richa Bhatia, teacher, Modern School, Barakamba Road, as well as Ms. Yashita Khera, Counselor, IP Global School, Noida. Could we please have a huge round of applause for this next panel, which is going to be, I promise you, an eye-opener. This session is going to be moderated by Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, Senior Editor, NewsX. Over to you.
Welcome back to those of you still with us, and hello and welcome to those joining us now in this next panel at the First in Class Awards and Conclave 2026 organized by ITV Network. We are, of course, continuing this conversation, talking about all aspects of education. A lot of education happens in the classroom, a lot of it happens outside, a lot of it happens from parents, a lot of it happens from teachers, and a lot of it happens from counselors as well. We're going to be addressing the issue of peer pressure, digital pressure, the price of belonging in our next panel. We're joined, of course, by experts in this field. Thank you all so much for being with us today. And Shikha Vij, let me begin with you first by just asking you about how really this problem of peer pressure is being dealt with by you at your school, and how you teach students from a young age on how to deal with this peer pressure, which some of us deal with even later in life.
Hi. First of all, thank you for having me here. I think the best thing to do with students from a very early age is to talk to them, right? We talk to them about everything. There is peer pressure now to choose subjects also, to go to the same college that the students' friends are going to go to the right, sometimes kids get into new habits which may not be genuinely something that's good for them through peer pressure. So the first thing that works is to talk to the child. Communication is the key. I heard that somebody mentioned that in the previous panel as well, and I totally echo that sentiment. You have to ensure that you're talking to your child. That doesn't just happen in school. It's a 24/7 job. You need to talk to students at home also. One problem that I'm facing is that parents are constantly saying, my child is not talking to me, because most of the time what you're talking about is grades. Can we move beyond grades as parents? That's the way to reach to the students, and that's the way to get them to open up and to make their own choices and their own decision making, to empower them to do that.
Well, interestingly, one of our sessions today was titled More Than Just Marks. So that, of course, was that conversation that you just spoke about. But Sachi Khanna, if I can come to you next on, EI. These days, there's so much talk about AI, but we often forget EI, which is emotional intelligence as well. How important is that for children? At what age do you start talking to children about emotional challenges, emotional pressure, and all of that?
Right. So basically, we teach literacy to children because we think that is fundamental in life. But what we don't understand is that this EQ is also something which is very fundamental in our life, because a lot of our conversations, decisions, everything is sort of influenced by that. So for me, I think primary years are the best years where you can start having these conversations with children, teaching them how to label emotions, how to talk about emotions. That is the foundation through which you can start. And as we go further in previous classes, you can build on that dictionary for them. So primary years as value education, if you want, through stories or through role plays, through competitions, poster making, these are some places or some activities that you can do to actually start that conversation with the students.
Talish, you're of course an accomplished professional in your own right. You're often with us on our shows on culture and heritage on our channel. But today, you've stepped into this hat as a parent on our panel, more than, of course, the profession you represent. So how can parents complement learning? Also, we live in the digital age. How do we help balance the goods of the digital age for our children rather than the bads of the digital age? And what have you been doing at your home for your own kids?
So there are two parts to it. One is about complementing learning. I think learning is a 24/7 process currently. It can't just be left. We are no longer from a generation where perhaps about 2 generations back, you would always have someone who had a parent who was not exactly literate or had gone to college. Currently, most of our children, at least in urban setups, have both sets of parents who are fairly well educated. And therefore, I think learning is something which follows from monkey see, monkey do. If they see their parents learning constantly, and specifically when parents come up and say, I think for us, our breakthrough as a parent and a child came forward, when I just turned around and said, I'm sorry, but I don't know, can I get back to you once I figure this out for you? And my child went a step further and said, let's figure this out together. So therefore, that bit is that learning curve is something that they either, if you have it, your child gets it as a nurturing instinct. The second part, of course, is the really important part about digital literacy. And where digital literacy is concerned with that, I think my feeling is that our parents themselves informed, our teachers themselves informed about how the digital world has rewired our brains, how it has rewired our world, and how much is too much. And it's with that understanding, because it's also changing by the day. By the time my children as teenagers were coming on board, social media was a thing. Currently, I have a 17-year-old who sniffs upon the fact that why would he want to be on social media, because he thinks it's infra-dig in some manners. And he looks down upon it as something that a previous generation did for validation. For him, the generation's only about 15 years. So he said, well, you know, when I was in nursery, kids went through it. I'm now too cool for this sort of a thing. But in the meantime, while the peer pressure was on, I have to give complete credit to their school, because there was a lot of education on what it meant to be on social media, how to keep yourself safe on social media. And I think as a lawyer, one of the things that I did as a parent was just to let them know about the deep, dark web. And say that, you know, there's a lot of crime that comes through it, and how much are you exposing yourself? So I think where digitization is concerned, our exposures are concerned, it's about keeping a tab and constant reminders. Because one of the most shocking things I came across as a person, as a professional, is that children no longer deal with each other in terms of names and where you stay and what class you're in. Instead, they ask each other their Insta handles. And when you find that out and you think through the concept, you come across that. And I remember asking a child saying, fine, you guys are introducing yourself with Insta handles, but what does that tell me? It tells me that you have a curated image of your life. X person has a curated image of their lives. First, you check out each other's curated image of what you think is your life, and then decide to have a human connect. How faulty is that, and how lonely are you going to be if every time you had to do a due diligence on the curated life of another person? But that's how they deal with it. That's how they're living their lives. So their Insta handles are about their vibes and other things, and the digital companies are obviously taking an advantage of that. Let's not forget that every social media handle, every digital company that's free, we are the product. Yes. So I think these two things, where one is constantly pushing in, saying that this is like fire, it's a great servant, but a very bad master, sort of gets them through to understanding. What they do with that understanding, remains on individual stresses, pressures, and how they are going to be coping with it. So there's no one firm rule, but just reminding constantly and being aware one's own self as to how constant it is, because their communication patterns are very different.
No, you've given us a very realistic answer, of course. But let me take that to you, Richa Bhatia ji, because the fact is, in life, there will be success, but in life, there will also be failures. Now, at what age do you begin teaching children about failures, how to deal with them, how to bounce back from it, and how to say that it's okay, sometimes it happens?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. See, right from preschool, we need to teach children that failure is not something which they should feel bad about, but it's an opportunity to explore new areas. You know, in our school, we teach them resilience. The school leadership also believes in teaching resilience to children. Resilience means that they should have the ability to bounce back, that in case you fail, that's not the end of the world. There is always a new opportunity waiting for you. If one door closes, 10 more doors, 100 more doors open for you. So you need to explore your inner strength. And at the same time, it's not only resilience, but also self-belief. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to have that compassion. Teachers, as a teacher, we should have compassion for children. That in case they fail, it's not that if they've failed, so we need to label them as failures. And, then children will get into depression. They go and, they resort to different things which are not suitable at their age. So it's always better as an educator that we have to shape the student in such a manner that he knows that, okay, if I fail, there is somebody at my back, someone is there to support me, there is someone who will look upon me, they will not look down upon me, not my friends. No. And we have to teach the entire student community that it's okay to fail. You get to learn new things. And there are certain formative assessments which are followed in school, like IPSAT, where, children, they make their own profile by self-assessment, and they get to know the fields which they are good at. So once they know that, yes, I'm good at, this is my strength. So this is what the school does. The school identifies their strength, so that in case they are not good at something, maybe they are good at something else. Because every child is unique. There is a saying of Einstein that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a wall, it will always think the entire life that it will believe that it is stupid. So we don't have to judge the child always. We don't have to be judgmental about things. We need to have compassion. We need to have, some kind of a resilience in us, and also teach the same to the child, that the child is able to do well and learns to cope up, because we are preparing, individuals for a global world. Yes. We are not preparing individuals for, just India or for our own country, but for a global world. So they have to be learned to make challenges.
For students, Yashita, according to you, which is that one factor which causes the most amount of anxiety, the most amount of depression, the most amount of pressure, and how do you deal with that at school?
Firstly, thank you for having me here. And at IPGS, I think there is one thing that we all believe in, that a child's mind is not a vessel that you just keep filling in. It is like a wood that, if it is damp, it won't ignite. And if there is too much anxiety in the room, it won't ignite. So what we try to understand here is that first, if a child is feeling anxious or depressed or something uncomfortable, it is not because child is the problem. We often ask the child, what is bothering you? What is your problem? So I would say that what is causing them this anxiety and depression is that world is their battlefield. Earlier, our failures would happen in a private room amongst our family members or close neighbors. But now they have to fight the world outside. Like their failures, their strengths, their weaknesses, everything is public. And the moment they feel that they're achieving their goal, they're reaching the line of end in the marathon that they're running, somebody sets a different example, another high. So it is a feeling that, am I not good enough? Am I not doing enough? Is there a problem with me? Why are other people who are my age are able to achieve this while I am still lacking? So that feeling of being misunderstood, unheard, unvalidated, and not approved of causes that anxiety. So when our fellow panelists suggested that communication is the key, I believe creating an environment where there is not just safe space, but also brave space is important, and that's how we can deal with what is causing them this anxiety.
We addressed, of course, AI in another panel. We've addressed, of course, the other EI, as I spoke about, emotional intelligence. Let's talk now, Talish, with you about CI. And that is not CII, but CI, which is creative intelligence and cultural intelligence. How can, the exposure of kids to, the cultural aspects, to heritage, to creative arts, to extracurricular activities, help them as well in their molding at early age?
So I think, coming in from there, because that's an area in which I've been an independent educator with the Tehelnama, my personal experience has been that when children are put in situations where they have exposure, and let me give a small example. On your own, a child will go in for a rhythmic beat, which possibly follows the 1, 2, 3 dik-chak that plays around in popular numbers. Having said that, if you upgrade their listening to a more complex rag or a particular concerto, they may not respond immediately, but what you're doing is you're tuning their ear. Similarly, a child would want to watch a visual medium, but when you take them to a museum, you're exposing them at that point in time, and with that exposure, gradually, it builds up to a point where there is a retention that is there, that there are other forms of arts. Some may take to it, some may decide to park it aside. That depends on each person's individual temperament, but repeated exposure again and again, without actually seeking their feedback beyond their comfort. Because what I have seen in the heritage and the cultural spaces, children are often just crammed in. So think about it, Red Fort, August heat, sultry, you take 300 children for a heritage tour. You are guaranteed that the adult will grow up associating going to any museum or a heritage space as being in discomfort, because that's their first exposure. So A, making them comfortable, B, giving it to them in small doses, but very regularly. Yes, of course, the first time anyone heard Tchaikovsky, they turned around and said, or an Ustad Bismillah Khan Saab, they turned around and said, this does not sound attractive. But gradually the tuning sort of takes place where they rise above to it. We cannot expect somebody who's that young, has not had exposure, to be able to naturally appreciate it. Having said that, that should not be a disincentive, because children do tend to disincentivize this. They do want to go to the thing which gives them a dopamine high. So sure, it's far more interesting to go to a food mall and give the kids whatever sugar rush that they need, rather than taking them out to a museum and saying, hey, can we just go through 20 paintings here? Okay. And that is what requires the kind of patience where one needs to navigate and sort of gently put them in positions. So A, start early, B, make it regular, C, give them the comfort around it. You are competing with malls, you are competing with movie halls, you're competing with fun spaces. Ensure that it is as comfortable for them, and they will take to it very naturally.
Okay. Now, you already gave us the parents' perspective earlier. Sanchi, let's get the school's perspective on what role you expect the parents to play. And how do you work in tandem with the parents rather than at cross purposes?
So basically, when we are dealing with peer pressure or failure, the kind of reaction that the parent usually gives becomes the emotional script or my inner voice as a child. So as a school, we always promote this culture of constructive feedback and also having a very accepting notion towards failure with the parents. If I, as a child, come to the counselor and say, ma'am, I've not scored marks and I won't go back home because I know the kind of reaction I'm going to get from a parent. This particular kid is always going to hide things from the parents throughout their lives. And let's face it, as kids, we go through different challenges at different stages of our lives. So one thing that we always promote in the school culture is communication between the parent and the child. And we always tell the parent that, you know, this idea of perfectionism that you expect from the child, you need to tell them that you have also have your sort of failures in life, to be able to tell them that failures are not end of the world. So that is something we really promote. Other than that, we have this parent check-in, parent emotional check-in in the school, wherein, you know, parents come together. It's like a support group, wherein we come and discuss the challenges that all of us are facing with their children. That has supposed to be very effective, because when parents learn from their shared experiences, a lot of them are able to relate to them, and, you know, learning by example becomes very easy for them as well.
Shikha, now, how do you train teachers? You know, you're of course a professional yourself, you're the counselor, but how do you train teachers at, you know, the other teachers at your school and at other schools in how to spot the effects of peer pressure? You know, early signs of mental health struggle or mental health pressure. How do we spot those early? How can teachers spot them early? Also, you know, some schools have this model of a buddy system. Does that help?
Buddy system always helps. It's always nice to have that one person who has ears for you, you know, and is listening. I feel there is a lack in this day and age of listening. We all want to just rant and talk about what we are experts at, you know, that the energy is not to receive, it is just to give out. So buddy system definitely helps. We've seen cases where mental health has been a big issue, you know. We talk about suicides, which is very terrible. I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room here, right? It is very scary as educationists, and I think we are walking, you know, on fire, literally on coals as educationists. We are constantly worried. How much can we say and we not say, you know, what is going to hit differently? So then, yes, buddy system is something that I feel works. You need to pair them correctly, right? There is different emotional resilience. Each child has their strengths and, you know, weaknesses. So that needs to be taken care of. Where teacher training is concerned, I feel by virtue of being teachers, all of us are partly counselors. You are constantly taking care of kids, you're listening to them, you're figuring out what's not going right in the family. Of course, most schools are taking care of professional development, and especially in the mental health sphere. That training is happening now. It's openly happening.
Because it's a constant evolution.
It's a constant
evolution. Yashita, if I can quickly bring you in there now, because we're beginning to run out of time, because there are these new challenges, you know, gaming pressure, you know, the gender identity, non-binary, all these things are now coming in. You know, how do you sensitize students on these issues as well? And how do you constantly train and make your teachers aware of issues that children can face at an early age?
So I believe that the awareness is already there. Our children, they know more than us. They are aware that gender binary, different genders, they exist. So as teachers, our role shouldn't be to just aware them, but also to sensitize them about it. Not just tell them, oh, this exists, but also to train them that how do you behave or how do you act when you have somebody within yourself. And as teachers, I believe one skill that we all have is hypervigilance. We can sit in a room of 100 people and we can still identify which child, which student is not themselves today. Which child is not feeling well today or not doing well today, and we can immediately ask them. So we build an environment, we model what we expect our children to do. Because these things, they are developing, the world is changing, and our children are just aware of it.
Okay.
As teachers, we have to sensitize them.
Okay. Richa, Bhatia, I'll leave the last word with you. Of course, our show today is titled First in Class. Every child wants to be first in class. Every parent wants that their child is first in class. But how do you ensure that, of course, we try and make them first in class, but don't lead to too much pressure in doing that as well?
Yeah, very rightly said, first in class. See, everybody wants to be in first in class. But, we need to recognize the efforts of students who are not coming first in class, who are not top scorers. It's not only the top scorers who need to be awarded. It's not only the top scorers who need to be recognized. We have to recognize every little effort of every child. During assemblies in our school, every week we give rewards, we give awards to students who are doing well, not only in academics, but also in extracurricular. And this gives them a sense of pride. This gives them a sense of belonging, that yes, they belong to the student community and they're also a part of it. It's not only the top scorers who need to be awarded every year on PTMs and all on the award days. So this is very important. And I think parents should also learn that it's not getting good grades is not the end of the world. It's not that if you get good grades, you are labeled as a good student. A student has to have an holistic development. He should be good at every field. And at the same time, as teachers, we need to recognize, we need to praise, we need to acknowledge, that is our responsibility. It's not that only top scorers are the ones who will receive applauds everywhere, but it's basically the ones who don't score well, but they are definitely good at something or the other, because as I said, every child, every student is unique.
Yeah, that's a good point to end on. You can be first in class, you may not be first in class in academics, but you can be first in class in sports,
Definitely.
first in class in extracurricular activities, so many other things as well. All right, well, thank you so much. And even if you are not first in class, it's okay. That's what you've also tried to tell our parents, our educationists, and our kids watching as well. Let's hope they've learned a lot from this conversation as well as we have in having it. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you, on this special panel.
What a way to end this panel discussion. Thank you all for joining us. Of course, we've all been waiting for the award ceremony. I'd just like to inform everyone that our chief guest for the afternoon, Shri Ashish Soodji, is on his way. Before we start that ceremony, we have another interesting panel lined up for you. We've heard teachers, we've heard educators, we've heard parents, their thoughts and perspectives, but now it's time to hear the students and what they have to say on many, many interesting matters. Joining us for the panel discussion on students of class 12, skill building and life skills, with us, I would like to invite on the stage is Ms. Ridhima Johari, student of Air Force Bal Bharti, Ms. Devika Rajpatra, student from Modern School Vasant Vihar, Mr. Moksha Dhyan Kochar, student from Modern School Barakhamba Road, Ms. Veronica Arora, student president, the RD School, Ms. Megha Konkana Datta, student IP Global School Noida, last but not least, Mr. National School East of Kailash. This session is going to be moderated by Mr. Uday Pratap Singh, Senior Editor, NewsX. Uday, over to you.
Thank you, Asavri, and welcome back to those of you still with us at the First in Class Awards and Conclave 2026. And hello to those of you joining us. It's time now to turn to the other stakeholders in the education system, the students themselves. How can we have a conversation on schools, learning, and studies as well as education without also hearing from the students? So we're very happy to have the students on our stage. Welcome all of you. You're all smiling. And of course, you're all students of class 11. So first, let's have a bit of an icebreaker before we get into the more serious aspects of the conversation. Let me ask all of you one by one what your favorite subject is. And now that you're in class 11, have you decided what you want to be when you grow up? So let's start with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ridhima. I'm a student of Air Force Bal Bharti School. I have the stream Humanities with Economics because I want to pursue law in the future, and I want to enter into the judicial services and become a judge.
Hello, I'm Devika Rajpatra. I'm a student at Modern School Vasant Vihar, and I have physics, economics, computer science, math, and English because I want to do something in the field of sustainability, engineering, and something to do with climate change in the future.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Moksha Dhyan Kochar. I'm a class 11 student of Modern Barakhamba. I study political science, economics, psychology, and mathematics. I wanted to go into business and corporate leadership and strategy.
Hi everyone, my name is Veronica and I'm from the RD school. My subjects are business, psychology and mathematics. I really wanted to do something in the field of law and I aspire to be a lawyer in court as well. So, yes.
Good afternoon everyone. I am Hriday Setia from Tego International School east of Kailash. I have humanities with economics and maths. I really want to do something in public service. So right now my aim is to give UPSC and become an IS officer. So yes.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Megha Konkanadatta. I'm in grade 11th of Indraprasth Global School. My subjects are physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. And I want to pursue medical and I want to become a doctor, more specifically a cardiologist. Thank you.
How wonderful. It's so great to see a lot of diversity on today's panel, all different fields that you want to enter and how you're already skilling yourselves for this. So let me begin by asking you first, Ridhima, on how you're picking up on those skills which you feel will hold good for you later, and which do you believe are the most essential: communication, teamwork, leadership, resilience, team building. Which do you believe is going to be the most important skill for you ahead?
So as I aspire to carve out a career in law and go into the judicial services, the most important skills for my career would probably be communication and problem solving, because I'll have to learn how to communicate with my clients and I'll have to learn how to solve their problems effectively. I have to look at them empathetically and I have to learn to bridge any communication gaps, and I'd have to effectively find out solutions on how I could solve their problems so that they go back home relieved.
And how are you helping, how are you picking up those skills, and how is your school helping?
So in my school, I've always participated in a lot of elocution and debate competitions. And aside from that, developing these soft skills requires simple changes in daily life. Instead of devoting some of your free time on the screen, you can engage in conversations with people and develop eloquency in your speech. You can try out new hobbies, and you can look at the world and appreciate the subtle details in the world. So you can become more, you can gain more insights, and in a world where you can choose comfort, choose challenge, challenge yourself a little bit more, be disciplined as much as possible. That are a few changes in daily life which can help in developing.
Wonderful to hear that. So much maturity in our young students, isn't there? Let's hear a round of applause, if you agree with me, to encourage them further. Let me get you in here now, Devika. How important is it to pick up these soft skills at an early age? Have you started picking up some of those soft skills already that you believe will help you in later in life?
So I had mentioned that I have a interest in engineering and sustainability, but I feel like soft skills are something that you cannot limit to a particular career that you want to pursue. A building is built by multiple bricks, and that's why I feel that everything you do, you need to have a set of skills that will help you with whatever you want to do in the future. It may not be aligned with the career path you want to follow, but it will make you a better and well-rounded individual. Communication is something that's very important, because without that, you can have an idea, but until you express it and other people are aware of it, there's no point of having that idea. Teamwork, collaboration, all of these are very important, because we're living in a very evolving world where we need to have collaboration progress together, and that's going to lead to the common goal development. So my school has really helped me develop these goals, because since a young age I've been participating in a lot of activities in school, like clubs, councils. In the council we learn how to manage leadership roles, how to manage our time, deadlines, and different activities like debating, MUNs, where we talk to different people, understand different perspectives. More than that, having different hobbies that your school always encourages. I come from modern Vasant Vihar, where everything is encouraged. You are given the opportunity to do whatever your heart feels like, so that really helps with development of soft
Very
skills.
nice to hear that. Moksha, there are so many different career paths now and career fields. So how complicated is that for you deciding on what you want to do later? And how is some of what you've learned in school helped you in trying to make up your decision?
Of course. I mean, now that we live in such a vast world, there's so many things at our disposal, so many paths we can go down. But I think that we all stand at a very critical age in our lives where not only having to decide, but having to explore should be a priority, especially through schools, as Vedika said. I think school offers an ideal environment to really understand yourself and your own skills. Participating in extracurriculars, especially at Modern Barakhamba, we're offered such a vast array of clubs and societies, sports, leadership to be a part of. And all that helps foster your skills, and from that you learn what you truly love. Steve Jobs said, if you want to do great work, you should love what you do. And therefore, the only way to truly find what you love is to explore.
Yes. Veronica, have you started building your skills already in school? Does your school encourage that? And, you all seem to have decided what you want to do later. Do you feel you should decide already or explore multiple options before finally deciding your eventual career path?
I think we're at an age where we have an internet that provides so much information. We have an option to go through so many different career paths and, explore really what we want to do. And my school especially, we have a lot of career counseling talks. We have specialists coming in from Harvard universities, mostly UK universities, that, really explain how you're going to navigate through your future in specific career paths. And we have a lot of student talks as well with our students, past ex-students who have already been in those universities. So all these experiences really help you navigate through what you want to do in the future. And, developing these skills is really important. I wouldn't call them soft skills. I think it gives them a very positive and sensitive connotation. I think these skills are extremely important to have on a daily basis. Like, okay, hard skills are something, your education. Hard skills is something everybody has. But, something like soft skills, which are communicating, teamwork, leadership, these skills really help you navigate through daily life as well as your career paths. And I think our school, especially at RD, we have so many clubs, we have so many debates, we participate in so many MUNs. It's really, our school really gives us an opportunity to go through all of this and develop these skills as well.
Hriday, you were, I'm sure, hearing our previous panel where we were talking about peer pressure. How have you handled peer pressure in school? And, the expectations that sometimes are there from parents as well, possibly teachers, to do well.
I believe respecting your parents' opinion, respecting them, it's very important. But something which is even more important is respecting clarity. Clarity of your own thoughts, that you know what you have to do, what you want to do. And if we don't agree with our parents, we have different opinions. I don't agree that we should just rebel against them, because their concern, it's also from their experiences. They don't want us to face the challenges, the problems that they have faced. So it's better if we give them logical reasoning. We tell them why do we want to pursue a career if we want to, different from what they want us to do. And yeah, because if our parents with us, if we are able to convince them, then I believe our family and friends, they can create such an environment for us that peer pressure, we can deal with it very easily. We know that even though we are compared with others, the ones whom we really care about, they are with us. So yeah, we are able to grow in those circumstances as well.
Megha, do you set short-term goals for yourself or long-term ones? And also, how does that help you in achieving them as well?
Well, first, I would say I'd set a long-term goal. In the beginning of 10th grade, I'd already decided what I want to do. I want to pursue science. More specifically, as I mentioned before, I want to give the NEET examination and I want to crack it. So that was my goal I had set for myself. That was my long-term goal, which I want to pursue and which I want to ace in 12th grade, that is, which is in a year. And to achieve that long-term goal, what I did was set short-term goals for myself. So in 10th grade, my goal was to ace the board of examinations, which I did. Now in 11th, I set more short-term goal, like I need to complete this chapter in these many days, I need to complete these topics in these hours, do these many questions each day. So these short-term goals definitely will help me achieve that goal I have set for myself in the beginning of 10th grade in the long run.
Wonderful. Great to see such, wonderful answers from our children. It certainly shows that our future is in the right hands of India. And before I end, I can see a book there. Do you enjoy reading? And is this your favorite book that you've brought? It's so nice to see this in the digital age. People are still, and especially our children, are still enjoying reading as a hobby.
So this is actually a book which I wrote on my own.
You've written this book?
Yes. So I'm a published poet. I have written this book. It's a collection of 50 poems. It deals with ways to rekindle yourself during times of hardship and the simple joys of life.
You want to end with a couple
Sure.
of lines?
So, since it's a collection of 50 poems, I would like to read out a poem which is titled Dreams. So, if that's okay.
Please.
Thank you. Dreams. With amazement, I admire at the seamless, flawless, vast sky. In its serene expanse, people's dreams and wishes through the clouds, gentle winds and dandelions are carried by. Clouds in rosy pink float freely in wintry sky shaded with dust. As these sparkle in the neurocultural sky when the moon's shadow over them is brushed. The sky in its hues of ethereal blue, azure and pink. The colors twin in so beautifully, it makes one wonder and the eyes don't blink. The radiance of the amber sun and the hope it infuses together makes the view look so vivid and the mood cheers a little better. At night plays a peekaboo, the naughty silvery moon, which wanders in the placid sky dreamily as the day went by so soon. The twinkling infinite guiding stars make the sky more appealing. Gazing at them alone makes its viewers get a happy, elated feeling. So, never stop your dreaming, for they are the guiding path and light, the road that leads one forward towards a future that's so shining and bright. Thank
Amazing. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for that lovely poem. And truly, all these students have a lot of dreams. Let's hope you all achieve them too as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
What a touching way of ending this discussion. Thank you all for joining us over here. So we've all been waiting for the awards ceremony. I'd like to, of course, tell everyone that our chief guest for the day, Shri Ashish Sood, Honorable Minister of Education, Government of NCT of Delhi, is now here with us. We are going to be starting the ceremony of the awards very shortly. We've had many interesting discussions through the course of the day and many more coming up right after the award ceremony that is set to take place. We've spoken about peer pressure. We've spoken about skill development. We've spoken about a host of subjects. Isn't it, Uday?
Well, absolutely, Savri. Of course, we've spoken on multiple subjects. And of course, we will be continuing this conversation very, very shortly with, of course, our chief guest for this inaugural session, Ashish Sood, the Education Minister of Delhi, will be with us very, very shortly. We've tried to get all stakeholders as well on this platform, on this stage, from students themselves to parents, to teachers, to principals, to counselors. You've heard them all on this stage since the morning. As I've been telling our viewers as well since the morning, this is not just an event, but it's the start of a platform, a very unique platform by ITV Network, engaging all stakeholders. And for schools across the country, it's the start of a host of programs. A dedicated website will also be launched by us. Of course, also weekly shows on our channels, pages in our newspapers as well on this subject, and also later this year, a special ceremony in Delhi as well, where we will, of course, be expanding this further. Also, stay tuned for a special quiz as well, which you will also be seeing by the First in Class platform.
Absolutely. You know, Uday, we've had so many discussions today. As I was speaking about peer pressure being one, we've spoken about touching topics such as the Yamuna River Initiative, which is so important. It is really the need of the hour. We've spoken about building safe, confident learners for, the start, speaking about the next generation, how are they going to be shaped. And in fact, on that note, we have our chief guest right with us over here, Shri Ashish Sood ji.
Let's welcome Shri Ashish Sood, our chief guest for the inaugural session, Honorable Minister of Education, Government of Delhi. He's, of course, with us live for this session. And before we welcome you on the stage, we want to play out, of course, a short AV on a mega event that ITV Network will be organizing next month in the national capital. Remember, the NXT was, of course, inaugurated last year by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji. It's set to return next month in Delhi with over 250 dignitaries from across the world. Let's tell you more.
ITV नेटवर्क के फाउंडर और संसद में मेरे साथी कार्तिकेय शर्मा जी, नेटवर्क की पूरी टीम, देश विदेश से आए सभी अतिथि, देवी और सज्जनों, मैं इन कार्यक्रमों के लिए आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। आपने एक नया ट्रेंड सेट किया है। मीडिया के इस तरह के इवेंट्स होते रहते हैं, लेकिन आपके नेटवर्क ने इसे एक नया डायमेंशन दिया है। आपका ये समिट आने वाली कल को समर्पित है। जितने भी मैं इवेंट्स में गया हूं, एक छोटे से कमरे में होते हैं और अपने अपने लोग होते हैं। यहाँ इतने विशाल समारोह को देखना, और वो भी एक मीडिया हाउस के समारोह को, और जीवन के सभी क्षेत्रों को स्पर्श किए हुए लोग यहाँ होना, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। इस टेम्पलेट को आने वाले दिनों में दूसरे मीडिया हाउस भी अपने तरीके से और इनोवेटिव बना करके कम से कम उस छोटे कमरे से बाहर निकले। पहले जो समिट अलग अलग मीडिया हाउस ने की है, वो नेता सेंट्रिक रही है। मुझे खुशी है ये नीति सेंट्रिक है। मैं देखता था कि पहले जितने भी ऐसे कार्यक्रमों को मैंने दूर से देखा या खुद हुआ गया, वहां विवाद का महत्व ज्यादा था, यहां संवाद का महत्व ज्यादा है। ITV नेटवर्क की पूरी टीम को मैं फिर एक बार ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
So stay tuned for that next month. But for now, without further ado, it's time to move swiftly forward to our next session to discuss NEP and beyond. We are very privileged to now have with us our chief guest for the inaugural session. बहुत मैं तहे दिल से आपका स्वागत करता हूं और आपको धन्यवाद भी देता हूं, आशीष सूद जी, कि आप हमारे बीच आए हैं. Let's quickly call upon the Honorable Minister of Education, Government of Delhi, on the stage now for our next session, NEP and beyond. This session, of course, is going to be moderated by Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director of NewsX. I invite you also on stage, Priya ji, for this conversation. Let's have a round of applause, please, for our chief guest for the inaugural session at the First in Class Conclave and Awards. And Priya Sehgal, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Uday, and thank you, Ashish Suji. You've taken time out. I tell all the school principals and students that Sunday ko aaye, lekin for a Mantri ji also Sunday is a precious day for you. Thank you so much for coming here for us. And सबसे पहले my question to you really is about the new education policy, जिसके बारे में हम बातचीत कर रहे हैं. What, in your view, is the सबसे biggest achievement of this policy?
देखिए, NEP 2020 ने इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के साथ भारत की एजुकेशन को ट्रांसफॉर्म करने का एक बड़ा काम किया है. और लैंग्वेज के संदर्भ में जो एक बड़ा डिवाइड पहले रहता था, मैं अंग्रेजी बोल सकता हूं, मगर अंग्रेजी में मेरे को भाषण देना मेरे हिंदी के भाषण से ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं लगता. उसी प्रकार से ये कहा जाता है कि बच्चा अपनी मातृभाषा में सोचता और चीजों को ज्यादा गहराई से आत्मसात करता है. तो जिस प्रकार से NEP 2020 में इन सब चीजों को एड्रेस किया गया है और इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के आधार पर शिक्षा देश में आगे बढ़े. और मैं अपने कॉलेज के दिन याद करता हूं, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी तब आई थी 1984-85 के आसपास. तो ऑपरेशन ब्लैक बोर्ड एक फ्रेज था उसमें. एज ए स्टूडेंट लीडर मैंने उसे समझा था कि द कंट्री इज स्ट्राइविंग दैट ब्लैक बोर्ड रीचेस एवरी क्लासरूम. आज हम AI और AI से भी आगे एथिकल यूज ऑफ AI और एजुकेशन में मैं जब स्टूडेंट था तो अकाउंटेंसी पढ़ने में कैलकुलेटर यूज नहीं करने देते थे। आज हम उससे आगे एआई के साथ साथ और अन्य चीजों में एजुकेशन को जो खोलने का काम एनईपी 2020 ने किया है, मुझे लगता है वो इस देश के बच्चों के लिए और इस देश के जो अमृत पीढ़ी है, जो देश को 2047 में विकसित भारत बनाने में रोल प्ले करेगी, वो अपने आप में बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है।
बिल्कुल, आपने सही कहा। इनफैक्ट मैं आपसे अगला सवाल यही था कि जो आपका स्कूल बैग था जब आप स्कूल और कॉलेज में थे, कंपेयर टू द स्कूल बैग ऑफ टुडे, उसमें बहुत फर्क होगा। बिकॉज एज यू सेड, उस समय डिजिटल, वी वर नॉट अलाउड टू यूज कैलकुलेटर्स, कंप्यूटर्स तो उतने थे ही नहीं, जो भी थे इंटरनेट वॉज सीन एज एक तरह से आपको किस हद तक यूज करना है। हाउ वुड यू एडवाइज द चिल्ड्रन टुडे के द यूज ऑफ इंटरनेट?
ऑन द लाइटर साइड, अच्छा बच्चे कम है। मेरी उम्र के लोगों से आप हमारे स्कूल के बारे में मत पूछा करो, नहीं तो इनको डर लगने लग जाएगा। टीचर अगर एक बार किसी सब्जेक्ट में नंबर कम आने पे एक मारते थे, तो पीटीए वाले दिन आके माता पिता कहते थे 2 और मारो। तो आज का जमाना तो वो है ही नहीं। हाँ, मगर इनकी दुनिया और हमारी दुनिया में अंतर है। अखबार जो सुबह मिलता था, उसी अखबार के माध्यम से चीजें मिलती थी, मगर आज वर्ल्ड इज ऑन ए प्लैटर, आपके हाथ के ऊपर पूरी दुनिया है और इतनी तेजी से इंफॉर्मेशन बदलती है और डिसिमेट हो रही है, तो उसके लिए नई जनरेशन को इक्विप होना भी चाहिए। और हाँ, ये एक विवाद है, मैं उसको अक्सर कहता हूं, गंभीरता से कहता हूं, मगर थोड़े विनोद के भाव से कहता हूं कि जब दुनिया ही ऐसे चल रही है कि छोटा बच्चा गोदी में रहे, खाना ही नहीं खाएगा तो मोबाइल आप हाथ में दे देंगे, तो आपने बचपन से दिया ही गैजेट ही है हाथ में, तो उसके कारण अब एथिकल यूज ऑफ इंटरनेट, जैसे एथिकल यूज ऑफ एआई की बात हो रही है, एथिकल यूज ऑफ इंटरनेट, और धीरे धीरे जिस प्रकार से गैजेट डी एडिक्शन के कैंप भी लग रहे हैं, एक बैलेंस तो होना ही चाहिए। और उस बैलेंस को मैं मानता हूं आज की युवा पीढ़ी जो है, विद देयर ग्रोइंग एज, आई थिंक दे आर कॉम्पिटेंट एनफ विद द काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दे आर गेटिंग, so much of information they are getting, मगर उसमें स्कूल्स का, टीचर्स का, पेरेंट्स का भी एक रोल है कि एथिकल यूज ऑफ इंटरनेट के संदर्भ में हमें ही इनको, जब हमने गैजेट थमाया है तो हमारी ही भूमिका है, हम ही बताएंगे व्हाट इज गुड और व्हाट इज बैड।
So message for the parents also, okay, teach by example, because आजकल parents themselves are not seen to be reading. काफी teachers से हमने भी बातचीत की, principals ने, उन्होंने कहा है कि जब घर पे parents किताब नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, then how are the children going to be reading the books? Are you worried that this generation का 2-minute attention span, Ashish Gujji, they don't, how do you get them to concentrate, focus, if all they're doing is seeing 2-minute reels?
नहीं, मेरा इसमें आपसे थोड़ा मतभिन्नता है, मेरा विचार आपसे अलग है। हर जनरेशन को ऐसा गुमान रहता है कि हम पिछली जनरेशन से अच्छे हैं, मगर साइंटिफिक स्टडीज भी ये बताती हैं जेनेटिकली अगली जनरेशन हमेशा पिछली जनरेशन से ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट होती है। दीज आर साइंटिफिक स्टडीज अवेलेबल ऑल अक्रॉस एवरी प्लेटफॉर्म। ऐसा नहीं है, पेरेंट्स का एक रोल है, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, मगर जब इंफॉर्मेशन तेजी से बदल रही है, तो आप जो किताब में पढ़ रहे हैं, जो आप सुबह न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ रहे हैं, अगले दिन न्यूज़पेपर तक आने के लिए तो वर्ल्ड इज अपसाइड डाउन, सो दे आर नाउ मोर इंटेलिजेंट, आई फील सो, कि इतनी सारी चीजों को कॉम्प्रहेंड करते जा रहे हैं और शायद उसको आत्मसात भी कर रहे हैं, उसको ग्रहण भी कर रहे हैं, उसके आधार पर अपने ओपिनियन भी बना रहे हैं। इसीलिए तो आजकल सारी दुनिया इनकी रील के आसपास घूम रही है, क्योंकि वही इनका ओपिनियन बना रही है और उनमें से सही और गलत की पहचान करने का हुनर भी इनमें आ रहा है। ये एक अच्छी बात है और मुझे लगता है प्रोफेशनल होते होते ये सिखाया भी जाता है, कौन सी मेल सही है, कौन सी मेल फ्रॉड है, कौन सा इंटरनेट पे कंटेंट जो अवेलेबल है वो सही है गलत है, ये बताया भी जा रहा है और लोग अपने अनुभव से सीख भी रहे हैं।
But I want to tell our audience here that Ashish ji has always been education minister. बनने से पहले भी he was always taken a keen interest in education. आपने used to work tell people to give CSR for education. आपने एक Lenovo tablet camp भी किया था. So you also were pro technology, I would say, from a very early time.
मैं दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय छात्र संघ का अध्यक्ष था और ABVP का अलग अलग जगह पर मैंने दिल्ली में काम किया। कॉलेज यूनियन से लेके दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन के प्रेसिडेंट तक मैंने अलग अलग जिम्मेदारियां निभाई हैं। और जब मैं नगर निगम में था तब भी एक शिक्षा समिति का मैं चेयरमैन था। तो मेरी मदर भी नगर निगम के स्कूल की मुख्य अध्यापिका थी। 4 बार उनको स्टेट अवार्ड एक बेस्ट शिक्षक का मिला है। तो एक मेरा ये शुरू दिन से मानना रहा है कि युवा ही वो जनरेशन है जिसके पास भविष्य की भी ताकत है और वर्तमान को भी ठीक करने की ताकत है। ये कल के नहीं आज के ही नागरिक हैं। जो लोग इन्हें कल का नागरिक मानते हैं, मैं मानता हूँ ये आज ही के नागरिक हैं। दे आर कंसर्न्ड विद एवरीथिंग हैपनिंग टुडे। वी कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट देम टू शट देयर आईज कि हम तो कल के नागरिक हैं जो आज हो रहा है। दे एट द टेंडर एज व्हेन दे आर जस्ट 14-15 स्टडीइंग इन 10th they form opinions about the political people, film stars or various literature figures, literary figures। तो इनके पास सब कुछ है। तो मैंने उस नाते से मुझे अच्छा भी लगता है मैं युवाओं के साथ ज्यादा काम करूं। तो जब जब मुझे मौका मिला है मैंने इनके साथ एंगेज करने का अपने आप को प्रयास किया है। अब कितना सफल होंगे कितना नहीं वो एक ईश्वर के हाथ में है।
But you are someone who's been working on ground. I think that helps a lot. लेकिन were you always wanting to be a politician? क्योंकि जो careers थे आजकल के, in fact I want to talk about career choices, पर आपका career कैसे बना? कि कुछ और मन में था और you got into politics?
मैं तो जैसे हर स्टूडेंट शुरुआती दौर में मैं भी फौज में जाना चाहता था। NDA का एग्जाम लिखने गया, पास नहीं हुआ, मगर मेरे पिताजी कहते थे तेरी मम्मी तुझे फौज में जाने नहीं देगी। जैसे घरों में रहता है कि एक वो है। मैं उसके बाद मैं फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर हूं और फर्स्ट जनरेशन पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविस्ट हूं। मैंने अपने स्टूडेंट डेज के बाद ABVP के फुल टाइम वर्किंग के बाद अपना बिजनेस किया और आज भी अब क्योंकि मैं एक संवैधानिक पद पर हूं, मैं सरकार से मुझे तनख्वाह मिलती है, तो इसलिए अब मेरा बिजनेस में मैं उतना इन्वॉल्व नहीं हूँ। मगर मैं फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर हूँ और फर्स्ट जनरेशन पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविस्ट हूँ और उसे शेप करने में विद्यार्थी परिषद और 1988-89 के बुफोर्स आंदोलन ने मैं मानता हूँ कि जो विद्यार्थी परिषद की नेशनल रिकंस्ट्रक्शन की सोच है, जब उस दौर में आप में से कुछ लोगों ने अगर कभी देखा हो, ताज पैलेस के बाजू में एक बहुत बड़ा झुग्गी कैंप होता था, बहुत बड़ा, लगभग 5000 झुग्गी होती थी। उसके ताज पैलेस झुग्गी और उसके पीछे मेरा कॉलेज होता था, ARSD कॉलेज। तो उन ABVP के साथ उन झुग्गियों में जाकर हम वहाँ के बच्चों की नीड्स को सर्वे करते थे, वहाँ की अन्य सोशल नीड्स का सर्वे करते थे। दैट हेल्प्ड मी अंडरस्टैंड the social obligations which an individual should carry with him or herself। तो उससे मैं मानता हूँ कि मेरे एक सोशल लीनिंग बनी। बाकी तो सब एक्सीडेंटली है। होता है कि आप काम करते हैं, काम करते करते एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से जुड़ते हैं और फिर लाखों लोग काम करते हैं, उनमें सभी टैलेंटेड होते हैं ऐसा थोड़ी ना आज हम ही टैलेंटेड हैं, लाखों कार्यकर्ता काम करते हैं, टैलेंटेड हैं, मगर कुछ भाग्य होता है और कुछ ईश्वर की कृपा होती है, उसमें से कुछ लोगों को ज्यादा मौका मिलता है और मैं उसके लिए अपनी पार्टी का और भगवान का बहुत इंडेटेड हूँ। मैं रोज सुबह इसके लिए शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ भगवान का। ये तो चलते चलते अपने आप हो जाता है, मगर प्लानिंग से, डिजाइन से मेरा कोई पॉलिटिकल कैरियर नहीं है।
लेकिन आई नोटिस कि आपके जो बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी ने एजुकेशन को बहुत एम्फोसिस दिया है। इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट फंक्शंस ही अटेंडेड आफ्टर टेकिंग ओवर एज प्राइम मिनिस्टर, बिकॉज आई थिंक ही टुक ओवर इन जून, तो फिर सितंबर में टीचर्स डे वाज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट दैट वी सॉ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर हिमसेल्फ कमिंग एंड इंटरैक्टिंग विद स्टूडेंट्स एंड टीचर्स। अब तो हमेशा उन्होंने करते हैं वीकली प्रोग्राम्स। तो आपको the message that you want to give to the students here, कि कितना फोकस उनको करना चाहिए अपने मार्क्स पे, कितना फोकस उनको करना चाहिए वरिंग अबाउट द फ्यूचर कि मेरा जॉब क्या होगा, मेरा क्या फ्यूचर होगा, और तीसरी बात जो आपने अभी कही, सोशल वर्क, हाउ मच ऑफ एम्फेसिस शुड दे गिव टू ऑल दिस?
आपने ठीक कहा, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने परीक्षा पे चर्चा शुरू की। देखिए, भविष्य की जनरेशन से संवाद स्थापित होना और उनके कंसर्न्स, उनकी एंजाइटी, उनके बाकी इश्यूज को एड्रेस करना एज ए फादरली फिगर, एज द हेड ऑफ द स्टेट या इस देश के अभिभावक के रूप में उन्होंने एक बड़ी जिम्मेदारी निभाई है। और प्रधानमंत्री जी के एक स्टेटमेंट को कि आपकी मार्कशीट आपका विजिटिंग कार्ड नहीं है, और आप में से जो लोग एम्प्लॉयमेंट देते भी हैं, एचआर से संबंधित होंगे, प्रिंसिपल्स यहाँ हैं, बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्निंग बॉडी के मेंबर्स होंगे, जो इंटरव्यू बोर्ड में बैठते हैं, उनमें से कितने लोगों ने मार्कशीट देख के नौकरियां दी हैं? मैं ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूं जिसने 600-700 नौकरियां जीवन में दी होगी, वो कहता है कि मैंने टेबल पे मार्कशीट उल्टी रख देता हूं। इट इज हाउ यू कैरी योरसेल्फ, आप एंड हाउ मच नॉलेज यू आर कैरिंग विद योरसेल्फ। तो ये बच्चों के बीच में आत्मविश्वास जगाने का काम अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किया है तो ये अपने आप में बड़ी बात है। और मैं भी ये मानता हूं, यहां उपस्थित बच्चे और आपके इस प्रबुद्ध चैनल में से जो लाखों लोग हमें देखेंगे, हर कोई इंजीनियर, डॉक्टर को बनना नहीं चाहिए, और बन भी नहीं सकता और बनना भी नहीं चाहिए। देश को कवि भी तो चाहिए, देश को आर्टिस्ट भी तो चाहिए, देश को और तरह के कोडर्स भी तो चाहिए, देश को और बहुत चीज करने के लिए लोग चाहिए। जैसे हम कलर में, साइज में, हाइट में, जैसे हम एक से नहीं है, वैसे अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज में भी एक से नहीं है। एवरी इंडिविजुअल, एवरी चाइल्ड कैरीज हिज और हर ओन कैपेबिलिटी। और हमारे तो वेदों में लिखा है कि कोई औषधि, कोई मनुष्य ऐसा नहीं है जो बेकार है, सबकी अपनी अपनी यूटिलिटी है। तो इट इज हम सबकी, जो सीनियर्स हैं, चाहे माता पिता हैं, चाहे पेरेंट्स हैं या कोई और हैं, ये हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी है कि हम उन बच्चों को ये एहसास दिलाए। अभी जब मैं आया तो लास्ट सवाल एक बच्चे से पूछा गया था पीयर प्रेशर के बारे में। तो ये हमारी ड्यूटी है, हम पेरेंट्स पे पीयर प्रेशर आता है और फिर वो पीयर प्रेशर बच्चों पे पास ऑन होता है। हम बहुत सारे अनफुलफिल्ड एम्बिशंस पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि जो मैं नहीं कर पाया वो मेरा बच्चा कर जाए। इसमें कोई बुराई भी नहीं है, हर कोई चाहता है, हर जनरेशन चाहती है, मगर वो बच्चों के ऊपर उनको वॉरियर की जगह वरियर बना दे। दिस चाइल्ड हैव टू बी वॉरियर। वो वरी करने वाला वरियर ही बन जाए, सारा दिन चिंता ही करे मेरे नंबर नहीं आएंगे तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। आपके नंबर आने चाहिए, अच्छे नंबर आए। मगर अब तो देखो कितना बदल गया है। जब मैंने एडमिशन लिया था तो कट ऑफ लिस्ट आती थी, अब तो CUET है, एक एग्जाम नहीं होगा, दूसरे में अच्छा करोगे तो सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज में आपको दाखिला मिलेगा। यहां बैठे जो मेरी उम्र के हैं, मुझसे थोड़े बड़े या छोटे लोगों को उन्हें पता है कैपिटेशन फीस पे दाखिला होता था आसपास। बहुत सारे प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, एक कैपिटेशन फी की इंडस्ट्री आसपास देश के कई राज्यों में थी। अब तो नीट के एग्जाम से मैं ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूं, और मैं उसमें कोई हे की दृष्टि से बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं ऐसे अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में एक ऐसे सज्जन को जानता हूं जो ई रिक्शा चलाते थे, उनकी बेटी ने नीट क्रैक की और बहुत अच्छी रैंक लेकर क्रैक किया। आज ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है देश में, तो इसलिए वॉरियर नहीं बनना, वॉरियर बनना, ये बताना हमारा ही काम है इनको।
बहुत सही बोला, इनफैक्ट दिस इज अ वेरी गुड मैसेज। पर आपका जो आप हम तो वरियर जनरेशन के हैं, हमको तो रिपोर्ट कार्ड का बहुत
आप देश की प्रबुद्ध जर्नलिस्ट हैं, कहां से वरियर हैं आप? अब हाँ, ऊपर आने के बाद वहां बने रहने की वरी जरूर हो जाती है।
नहीं, स्कूल के टाइम भी बहुत प्रेशर था रिपोर्ट कार्ड का, विच अगर हमारी न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी वो प्रेशर हटा दे, देन आई थिंक वी आर डूइंग अ ग्रेट सर्विस टू आवर चिल्ड्रन। पर थोड़ा सा आपका फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट क्या था, थोड़ा सा आप अपने बारे में बताइए। इन क्लास व्हाट डिड यू एंजॉय डूइंग, आपको कौन सी क्लास में मजा आता था?
देखिए, मुझे तो हिंदी लिटरेचर में और सिविक्स में बहुत मजा आता था। इन दो सब्जेक्ट्स में मुझे बहुत मजा आता था। मैथ्स तो मेरे पिताजी मुझे डांट डांट के ही पढ़ाते थे, और बाकी मैं अबव एवरेज स्टूडेंट था।
Well, you've done very well in that sense. But in terms of play time, आजकल थोड़ा सा बच्चों को बताइए, in physical play time का भी हमें थोड़ा सा we have to, you know, everybody thinks play time means screen time. तो ये प्रॉब्लम जो आ रही है पेरेंट्स को घर पे,
उसमें मैंने पहले ही कहा, ये हमारे हाथ में ही है। मैं ऐसे परिवारों को भी जानता हूं जिन्होंने इस डिसिप्लिन को एडहर किया है कि वी विल हैव dinner together on a table and that will be the family time with no gadget in hand on everybody. और ये डिसिप्लिन तो पेरेंट्स को बनाना होगा, और उसके बाद भी चुनौतियां रहेंगी। आपके साथ तो, पेरेंट्स के साथ तो 5, 8, 10 घंटे, 5 घंटे मुश्किल से गुजारता है बच्चा, बाकी समय तो 8 घंटे स्कूल में, ट्यूशन में और बाकी जगह गुजारता है। तो ये हम लोगों को थोड़ा अपने तरीके से कुछ एक काउंसलिंग करके ही इस चीज को हम बना सकते हैं। इसके लिए कोई हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल बनाकर रेजिमेंटेड रिजीम में तो कुछ मुझे लगता नहीं हो पाएगा।
और आजकल के करियर्स क्या आपको लगते हैं? आपने कोडिंग की बात करी, डिजिटल एज की बात करी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ यू नो, शुड चिल्ड्रन आल्सो बी इनकरेज टू बिकम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स? क्योंकि आपकी गवर्नमेंट इनफैक्ट काफी इनकरेज भी कर रहे हैं टू गिव, यू नो, हेल्प, फाइनेंशियल हेल्प टू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स। सो सबको इन टर्म्स ऑफ, यू सी द प्रोफेशनल्स चेंजिंग ओवर द इयर्स?
देखिए, देश में 2014 के बाद एक बहुत बड़ा परिवर्तन आया है। 2014 से पहले देश में केवल 3 स्टार्टअप थे, आज देश में सैकड़ों यूनिकॉर्न हैं। जो ये स्टार्टअप कल्चर बदला है, इसको एक इकोसिस्टम में कन्वर्ट करने की जरूरत है। इस इकोसिस्टम में एक डिजाइन के साथ, जब सरकार प्लानिंग के साथ काम करेगी, तभी हम उसको एक इकोसिस्टम में बदल सकते हैं। मैं आपको 2 उदाहरण देता हूं। संजोग से आज 8 फरवरी है, आज ही के दिन पिछले साल रिजल्ट्स आए थे। आज ही के दिन पिछले साल रिजल्ट्स आए थे। तो जब मैं एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूं तो मुझे थोड़ा 1 साल पहले का, और मैं बहुत गार्डेड होके दे रहा हूं क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि हम दूसरे की निंदा ही करते रहते हैं। इकोसिस्टम पे आपने बात की, तो मैं उस पर एक टू मेक माई पॉइंट आई हैव टू साइट एन एग्जाम्पल। जो हमें एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की भावना और उसके अंदर का एक ट्रेट को जगाना है, तो पिछली सरकारों में 1-1.5 करोड़ रुपए उस प्रोजेक्ट पे खर्च हुआ, और 74 करोड़ रुपए एक प्रोजेक्ट था बिजनेस ब्लास्टर। 74 करोड़ रुपीस वर स्पेंट ऑन दी एडवर्टीजमेंट्स। दिस ईयर वी हैव स्टार्टेड 3 करिकुलम्स: नीव, राष्ट्र नीति एंड साइंस ऑफ लिविंग। नीव इज न्यू ईरा इन entrepreneurship ecosystem विजन। 5000 टीम्स को, दिल्ली के सरकारी स्कूलों को थोड़ा माफ करिएगा, आप इसको अन्यथा मत लीजिएगा, यहां बैठे लोग सरकारी स्कूलों को थोड़ा निम्नतर मांगते हैं कि यहां साधनों की कमी है, अभावग्रस्त लोग हैं। तो उन बच्चों को 5000 टीम्स को 20-20 हजार रुपए यानी 10 करोड़ रुपए बिना किसी प्रचार के, बिना किसी शोर शराबे के, फैनफेयर के 10 करोड़ रुपए 5000 टीम्स को दिए गए हैं। वो अपने अपने स्कूल्स में, हमने कहा जो सोचते हो तुम सोचो। किसी ने बेकरी पे सोचा है, किसी ने ड्रोन बनाया है, किसी ने एक ग्लाइडर जैसा विजन बनाया, बोला जी खेत में हम इससे खाद फैला सकते हैं। तो मैंने कहा भाई इसको क्या तुम ऐसा डेवलप कर सकते हो कि जो आपके घरों में अभी जाती हुई सर्दी में फॉगिंग होगी, मशीन घूमेगी, उसके बदले ड्रोन से फॉगिंग हो जाए। They said yes, and they are inviting me day after tomorrow to give the trial of that kind of a small plane. Plus, we are coming out with a startup policy. We are coming out with a incubation policy. दिल्ली में दिल्ली सरकार की 8-10 यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, अलग अलग यूनिवर्सिटीज केंद्र सरकार की हैं, हर किसी का अपना अपना एक इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर है। पता चला 10 यूनिवर्सिटीज के इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स में एक तरह का ही प्रोजेक्ट चल रहे हैं। हम इस वेस्ट ऑफ रिसोर्स और एनर्जी को बदल सकते हैं। तो उस इंक्यूबेशन पॉलिसी में एक तरह की उनकी फंडिंग की व्यवस्था हो जाए, किन चीजों पर रिसर्च हो रही है उसके संदर्भ में बात हो जाए, वेस्टेज ना हो, और ये यूनिवर्सिटीज उस नींव में जो बच्चे ने कोई एक चीज बनाई है उसकी वैलिडेशन के लिए, उसकी टेस्टिंग के लिए इन यूनिवर्सिटीज की लैब इस्तेमाल हो जाए। और हमने अभी स्टार्टअप युवा फेस्टिवल किया जिसमें हमने 700 स्टार्टअप्स हमारे पास आए, उसमें से 100 सिलेक्ट किए, 100 में से 10 को 10-10 लाख रुपए और बाकी हर स्टार्टअप को 1-1 लाख रुपए हमने आगे बढ़ने के लिए दिए। आप कल्पना नहीं करेंगे इतने बढ़िया बढ़िया आइडियाज लेके बच्चे आए। उनको आगे का इकोसिस्टम देने के लिए 2035 तक दिल्ली में 5000 स्टार्टअप्स को हम पल्लवित कर सकें, उनको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम एक इकोसिस्टम बना सकें, उसके लिए 325 करोड़ रुपए की एक सीड कैपिटल के साथ दिल्ली की स्टार्टअप पॉलिसी को लेके हम बड़ी जल्दी कैबिनेट में लेकर आने वाले हैं। तो हमारे बच्चे जॉब गिवर बने, जॉब सीकर न बने। और अब वक्त भी बदल गया है। एक जमाना था लोग कहते थे कि नौकरी कर लो, सरकारी नौकरी में चले जाओ, या आपके पास कोई इस प्रकार की स्टेबिलिटी। अब लोगों के अंदर समाज में भी एक रिस्क लेने की एक मादा आई गई है।
Thank you so much, Ashish ji. I think आपकी सोच के लिए and आपकी initiatives के लिए truly you have come first in class in our program today. So thank you so much for coming and gracing us. Thank you.
सरकारी स्कूलों का जिक्र कर रहे थे माननीय मंत्री जी, मैं आपको अवगत कराना चाहता हूं कि आज का कार्यक्रम भी फर्स्ट इन क्लास है और जो प्रथम सत्र था वो सरकारी स्कूल प्रिंसिपल्स का ही था। आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू प्लीज स्टे ऑन स्टेज विद अस बिकॉज अब हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। हमारे फर्स्ट इन क्लास अवार्ड्स प्रेजेंटेशन का वक्त आ गया है। दैट मोमेंट यू ऑल हैव बीन वेटिंग फॉर हैज नाउ फाइनली अराइव्ड व्हेन वी आर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड टू द इनॉग्रल फर्स्ट इन क्लास अवार्ड्स ऑफ 2026 presentation. For this, I would like to call on stage the chairperson of Sunday Guardian Foundation, Aishwarya Pandit Sharma, as well. Dr. Sharma, could we please have you on stage? And also want to inform our audience that to determine the award winners, a special jury was constituted by us, comprising of a former High Court judge, a senior journalist, and the former secretary of CBSE. And now, the awards have been decided. Let's go straight across to begin with that announcement. The first big award, the best school overall for 2026 goes to two winners. First, Modern School, Barakamba Road. To correct this award, we have Principal of Modern School, Barakamba Road, Dr. Vijay Datta. Could we please have you on stage? Many, many congratulations to you. Let's keep the applause going as we announce the winners of First in Class Awards 2026. The Honorable Education Minister of Delhi, of course, is presenting these awards. Let's keep the applause going. Modern School, Barakamba Road, winning Best School overall. Also, joint winner in this category of Best School overall is the Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon. Collecting the award is Vandana Vadera, Early Years Head, Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon. Could we have you on stage, Vandana Vadera? Many, many congratulations, Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon, for also winning Best School overall today. The next award is Best in Academics. This goes to also two winners, RSKV number 2 Jama Masjid. RSKV 2 number 2 Jama Masjid wins the award for Best in Academics. Poonam Meenaji is with us, Head of School. Please come forward to collect the award. On behalf of your school, let's keep the applause going. RSKV number 2 Jama Masjid winning Best in Academics. Also winning in this category is Government School SKV Mata Sundari Road. And joining us is Dr. Prerna Sharma, Head of School, to collect this award. Best in Academics Award, Government School SKV Mata Sundari Road. Many, many congratulations. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. थोड़ा और जोश हो जाए कमरे में, तालियों की गूंज नहीं रुकनी चाहिए. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Best in Sports goes to Modern School Vasant Vihar. Vibha Khosla, Principal, Modern School Vasant Vihar, will collect the award. Many, many congratulations to you. In fact, some students are also there of Modern School Vasant Vihar, winning today for Best in Sports. The First in Class awards now continue, and the next award is Best in Sustainability. The Best in Sustainability award goes to, in fact, 3 schools. The Yamuna River Initiative first. The Yamuna River Initiative award to be received by Dr. Anviti Singh. Many, many congratulations. Dr. Anviti Singh, could we have you on stage, please? Dr. Singh, please join us on stage. The Yamuna River Initiative award winner for Best in Sustainability. Also winning Best in Sustainability is Pathway School, Gurgaon. Pathway School, Gurgaon also wins Best in Sustainability Award. Meenakshi Singhal, Principal of Pathway School, Gurgaon, will be collecting this award. Many congratulations to Pathway School, Gurgaon. Best in Sustainability Award. And keeping the applause now going for the Study School. The Study School also wins Best in Sustainability at First in Class Awards 2026. Collecting the award is Shivani Wazir Pasrij, Director of the Study School. Many congratulations. The Study School winner today. And now, moving forward to Best in Skilling Award. The RD School wins Best in Skilling 2026. Pooja Bhatia will collect this award, Principal of the RD School. Pooja ji, could we have you on stage? Many, many congratulations to you. Best in Skilling Award, the RD School. And Shiv Nadar Early Years, Noida also wins Best in Skilling. Sumita Malik will collect the award, Head Early Years. Sumita Malik, could we have you on stage? Shiv Nadar Early Years, Noida, congratulations. Also winning Best in Skilling Award. Daisy Dale School also wins Best in Skilling Award. Daisy Dale School winner, Best in Skilling. Nisha Bedi will collect the award, Principal, Daisy Dale School. Let's keep the award going. Daisy Dale School winner also in this category of Best in Skilling. Nisha Bedi collecting the award, Principal, Daisy Dale School. And now we are moving forward to Principal of the Year. Principal of the Year, Dr. Vijay Datta, Principal, Modern School, Barakamba Road. Many congratulations to you. winning this prestigious award of Principal of the Year 2026. And joint winner in this category for Principal of the Year is Miss Malika Preman, Tagore International School Principal, East of Kailash. Malika Preman, many, many congratulations to you, also winning this prestigious award for the year 2026 at First in Class Awards. And now the People's Choice Award for 2026 goes to 3 winners. First, Modern School Vasant Vihar. Modern School Vasant Vihar, joint winner of the People's Choice Award 2026. Vibha Khosla, Principal, Modern School Vasant Vihar, will collect this award. Vibha Khosla, could we have you on stage? People's Choice Award going to Modern School Vasant Vihar. Let's keep the applause going. Tagore International School, East of Kailash, let me also call you on stage for this next award. Tagore International School, East of Kailash, also winning People's Choice Award for 2026. Malika Preman will collect the award, Principal of Tagore International School, East of Kailash. Let's keep the applause going. People's Choice Award 2026, Tagore International School, East of Kailash, also winning today. And People's Choice Award also goes to the Kulachi Hansraj Model School, Ashok Vihar. Archana Kaul, Principal, Kulachi Hansraj Model School, Ashok Vihar, will collect this award, the People's Choice Award for 2026. Could we please have you on stage? Congratulations, Kulachi Hansraj Model School, Vasant Vihar, winning today. And the next award is Best in New Age Infrastructure. It goes to 2 schools. Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon, winner of Best in New Age Infrastructure. Congratulations. Vandana Vadera will collect the award, early years head of Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon. Could we have you on stage? Congratulations, Shiv Nadar School, Gurgaon. Best in New Age Infrastructure. And the 2026 award for Best in New Age Infrastructure also goes to the Indraprasth Global School, Noida. Congratulations. Nikita Tomarman will collect this award, Principal, Indraprasth Global School, Noida. तालियों की गूंज रुकनी नहीं चाहिए, तालियां बजती रहनी चाहिए. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. Nikita Tomarman collecting the award. Indraprasth Global School, Noida, winner in Best in New Age Infrastructure. And for Best in Career Counseling, the award goes to SKV Kirari. SKV Kirari, winner today in Best in Career Counseling. Seema Dahiya will collect the award, Head of School, SKV Kirari. Many, many congratulations to you. SKV Kirari winning today, Best in Career Counseling. Also winning the award is GBSSS, Nithari Village. Congratulations, Best in Career Counseling Award. Mitlesh Kumari Meena, Head of School, will collect the award on behalf of GBSSS, Nithari Village. Winner for Best in Career Counseling. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. Many, many congratulations to you. And for the Best in NEP Implementation, the award goes to 3 winners. Best in NEP Implementation, the Study School. Many, many congratulations. The Study School winning today. Shivani Wazir Pasri, Director, the Study School, will collect this award for Best in NEP Implementation. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. Also winning for Best in NEP Implementation is Indraprasth Global School, Noida. Nikita Tomarman, Principal of Indraprasth Global School, Noida, will collect this next prestigious award, Best in NEP Implementation 2026. Many, many congratulations. Audience, lunch is on its way. Please keep up the energy. You will be getting food very, very shortly. But for that, you have to clap first. Okay, also winning today for Best in NEP Implementation is GBSSS Ramjas Lane, Karol Bagh. Dr. Khalik Ahmed will collect this award, Head of School, GBSSS Ramjas Lane, Karol Bagh. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. Congratulations. Best in NEP Implementation. And the next award is for Best mental health program for 2026. Winner today is the RD School. Khushbu Abbott collects this award, Principal Pre-Primary. बहुत बधाई आपको. RD School winning today. Khushbu Abbott, congratulations, Principal Pre-Primary for the RD School. Winner, Best Mental Health Program. And winning today for Best Early Learning Institution now. Best Early Learning Institution Award goes to Golden Bells Early Learning. This award will be received by Dr. Rajiv Gupta. Dr. Gupta, many, many congratulations to you. Best Early Learning Institution, Golden Bells Early Learning. Dr. Rajiv Gupta collecting this prestigious award. Now over to Best Girls School of the Year. SKV Baba Ramdev Prasad Nagar wins Best Girls School for 2026. Manjurani, PGT History, will collect this award. Please, could we have you on stage for Best Girls School of the Year? SKV Baba Ramdev Prasad Nagar. Many, many congratulations. Now over to the final two awards for the afternoon. Best Urdu Medium School goes to Sarvodaya Bal Vidyalaya Jama Masjid. Gayur Ahmed, Head of School, will collect this award. Sarvodaya Bal Vidyalaya Jama Masjid, Best Urdu Medium School Award. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको गयूर अहमद जी, Head of School, सर्वोदय बाल विद्यालय जामा मस्जिद. And the final award for today is Best Hindi Medium School. Best Hindi Medium School goes to SKV Aram Bagle. Priyanka Singh, Head of School, will collect this award on behalf of SKV Aram Bagle. Best Hindi Medium School, SKV Aram Bagle. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको. Congratulations. आखिरी पुरस्कार है, please. थोड़ी तालियां हो जाए. And now I request you to stay on stage, and I request our audiences to rise please for the national anthem. We conclude today's ceremony with the national anthem, requesting Honorable Education Minister Delhi to stay on stage.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया माननीय मंत्री जी, आपने समय निकाला. आभार व्यक्त करते हैं आपके प्रति, Honorable Education Minister of Delhi, for joining us and for presenting these awards. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much, sir. And we will of course be continuing our first in class summit, but slipping into a very short break. We're back on the other side. We're breaking for lunch. Our conclave will continue on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
From India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next global news platform. Reporting from 120 countries in 12 languages. India News is one of India's leading 24-hour Hindi language news channels. Known for its high-impact reportage, NewsX is the flagship national English news channel, a host to dedicated community platforms. ITV Network has 6 regional news channels, with landmark news events, 5 flagship newspapers, and over 100 million monthly digital viewers, winning hundreds of awards as a testament to the value we bring to India's people. India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next global news platform. Reporting from 120 countries in 12 languages. India News is one of India's leading 24-hour Hindi language news channels, known for its high-impact reportage. NewsX is the flagship national English news channel, a host to dedicated community platforms. ITV Network has 6 regional news channels, with landmark news events, 5 flagship newspapers, and over 100 million monthly digital viewers, winning hundreds of awards as a testament to the value we bring to India's people. India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next global news platform. Reporting from 120 countries in 12 languages. India News is one of India's leading 24-hour Hindi language news channels, known for its high-impact reportage. NewsX is the flagship national English news channel, a host to dedicated community platforms. ITV Network has 6 regional news channels, with landmark news events, 5 flagship newspapers, and over 100 million monthly digital viewers, winning hundreds of awards as a testament to the value we bring to India's people. India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next global news platform. Reporting from 120 countries in 12 languages. India News is one of India's leading 24-hour Hindi language news channels, known for its high-impact reportage. NewsX is the flagship national English news channel, a host to dedicated community platforms. ITV Network has 6 regional news channels, with landmark news events, 5 flagship newspapers, and over 100 million monthly digital viewers, winning hundreds of awards as a testament to the value we bring to India's people. India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next global news platform. Reporting from 120 countries in 12 languages. India News is one of India's leading 24-hour Hindi language news channels, known for its high-impact reportage. NewsX is the flagship national English news channel, a host to dedicated community platforms. ITV Network has 6 regional news channels, with landmark news events, 5 flagship newspapers, and over 100 million monthly digital viewers, winning hundreds of awards as a testament to the value we bring to India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest India's most credible journalists presenting you news, views and impact stories from India and across the world. Home of India's biggest news campaigns. Host to India's biggest platforms. This is India's fastest growing media house. This is the ITV Network. A global news channel, NewsX World is the next